If it wasn't for this one guy trying to kill me, I wouldn't be the creator I am today. Here's what happened. I was 16 in my junior year of high school. I was on the swim team, I had a part-time job at a frozen yogurt place, but when I wasn't chopping waves and counting change, I was scrolling Tumblr to take the edge off. And one night, I came across a video titled Butts. I'd never seen anything like this before. It was animated by what looked like just one person, maybe 2 or 3, I don't know, but not a company. And it was so well done and hilarious. So then I watched all of this guy's videos. And then I found this other dude who was doing the same thing. So then I watched all of his videos. And I was like, huh, didn't know you could do that. I want to do that. But I had no idea where to start. Sure, I had my cheap little drawing tablet, an old wonky version of Photoshop, and enough hand-eye coordination to draw some sick Lion King fan art. But when it came to making that sick Lion King fan art run around to the beat of Fireflies by Owl City the way I was envisioning it so clearly in my head, I was clueless. But then, I had a brilliant idea. Hi, Domix, I'm a huge fan. By the way, what program do you use? And he rightfully never emailed me back because it was listed right there in his About section. And here's hoping that if he did read my email, he didn't connect the dots like 6 years later when we met at VidCon. Lord knows that's all I was thinking about. So I couldn't find that fancy Flash animation software, but that was okay. I continued on with my artistic journey in high school, where I learned how to paint and sculpt and hone my drawing skills even more. But when it was time to start looking into what college I wanted to go to, drawing was cool and all, but animation looked even cooler. I mean, ever since I was a kid, I was enamored by every Disney movie I'd watch. So I decided then and there, one day, I was gonna work for a major animation studio like Disney. Or at the very least, find that freaking Butts animation software, good God! You know what probably would have helped? Having a better browser. Like Opera Air, the super customizable, dynamic, free web browser designed with you in mind. And considering how stressed out I got trying to find that animation software, I think the all-new Opera Air browser would have helped a ton. Opera Air's design is inspired by the science of mindfulness. To start, Opera Air offers Design Light, a simple, intuitive, and clutter-free browser interface to help reduce distractions and provide a more focused and stress-free experience. It also has a feature called Break, where if you've been scrolling for a little too long, it'll send you a gentle reminder to take a break, do a little stretch, or for those of us in an absolute crash-out state, follow a guided meditation to calm your nerves and refocus your mind. The Break feature integrates these mindfulness techniques and more with the body battery indicator here, which you can also access with a keyboard shortcut, Control-K. Another super unique feature from Opera Air that I enjoy is boosts, where different tones, calming music, and sounds from nature play into each side of your headphones. These binaural beats activate the brain bilaterally with your choice of gamma, alpha, beta, or theta waves. There are dozens of soundscapes available to enhance concentration, creativity, relaxation, and more. My favorite boost is peak concentration, and I prefer to lower the music to hear the tone better. This feature also has a keyboard shortcut, Control-B. As someone who already uses bilateral brain stimulation techniques to combat my anxiety, this is very impressive. And again, this amazing tool is free. The cherry on top of this feel-good browser is the feature Inspiration, which provides daily quotes right there on your homepage to help start the day on a positive note. And they aren't just for you. You can share your favorites with family and friends too. Opera Air is such a unique browser, and they really did their research on mindfulness when creating it. Use my link below to try Opera Air for free today. And thank you, Opera Air, for sponsoring. Now, back to the video. So, in 2015, I went to school for animation. And boy, was I not feeling lucky! Turns out the school I chose was going through a phase, I guess. Back then, they strictly and only taught pencil and paper animation, which sounds really cool at first, right? But we all do know that no one really does this kind of animation anymore, right? Now, I learned a lot, and I really appreciate all my professors and all the wonderful things they taught me. But let's be real, we were living in the Stone Age over there. So when I was in my junior year of college and I caught wind of an internship at a small animation studio that used Toon Boom, the hottest new digital animation program sweeping the nation as well as France and Canada, I took that internship. Even if it meant I was driving 2 hours each way in California traffic, I had to learn something from this era. Because out in the real world, animation programs cost big money, more than a college kid can afford. And it would be so embarrassing to explain to a future interviewer, sorry, I don't know any programs except Flipbook. What's Flipbook? Exactly! Now this internship was for YouTube animator It's Alex Clark. And when I saw that, I said, who? Forgive me, but the last time I knew anything about this niche YouTube community was butts. Back in 2014. It had been like 3 or 4 years since then. I didn't know this little sapling of a YouTube category had grown into a forest while I was flipping and rolling and flipping and rolling my spine into a C-curve. There were a lot of new people here, now with millions of subscribers. It was pretty intimidating, so I just clocked in and kept to myself. While working for Alex, I helped mail out merch, I helped answer emails, I grabbed coffee and lunch orders, and of course, I learned Toon Boom bit by bit, once a week, every Wednesday. And despite the soul-sucking LA traffic I waded through uphill both ways, I learned a lot. So one day during winter break while I was taking my time in my aunt's bathroom, I had an idea for a video of my own. My family is pretty spread out all over the country, so I've flown quite a bit by myself, and I've had some funny and weird experiences I thought were worth sharing. I'd learned a lot about the typical YouTube animation pipeline, so I figured it was time I just try it out for myself. But the goal was never to become a YouTuber. I saw the stress it put everyone under, so my goal was simple. Before beginning my beautiful pencil and paper 2-minute senior film comprised of over 2,000 drawings, I made a YouTube animation storytime video for fun, and I posted it on an account called Illymation. I knew from life experience that my name is impossible to spell on first introduction, so I started going by Illymation online instead because it's easier to remember, spell, and find should a future employer need to Google me or my work. The last thing I wanted was another Flash animation software fiasco. So whenever I needed to trade paper cuts for keyboard shortcuts, I worked on my YouTube videos. It was the only fun I had! After a couple months, I started to gain a small following, which was super cool. I got to chat with everyone in the comments. We all followed each other on Twitter. We made Discord servers to share art and hang out together. It was really wholesome. But then, one fateful summer day, I posted a video about working at Chick-fil-A and this really creepy coworker we dealt with. When I was working on it, I didn't think anyone would really care to click on it, to be honest. It had a much more serious tone than my other videos, and I expected that to be a bad thing. Animation storytime on YouTube was mostly known for uplifting, lighthearted, happy, silly stories. But to my surprise, the video blew up. It got like 1 million views. And then my other videos started getting more views, and then my channel started getting a ton of new followers and a lot of comments. By the summer of 2018, so just a couple months into this fun little side project, I achieved 100,000 subscribers and a silver plaque from Mr. YouTube in the mail. My channel had also earned enough watch time for YouTube to allow me to run ads on my videos and make money, which was so weird. What started off as just something I did to prepare me for a job opportunity one day was slowly turning into a job opportunity itself. I was making schedules for what videos I wanted to put out, figuring out deadlines I needed to hit, all the while checking on my comment section to figure out why 1 million people showed up here all of a sudden. But not all of them were nice. You're a liar paid by the government to brainwash my children! Quit making things up for views! No, she's not. This kind of bad stuff happened to me too. That's just life. You're a liar paid by the government to brainwash my children! Quit making things up for likes! Bro, chill, touch grass. And when I saw this, I thought to myself, why would anyone be a YouTuber? And then I made another video, and I stopped reading the comment section every day. Now, even though there are some really nasty people and god-awful things happening down there, Jesus Christ, those comments weren't the ones keeping me up at night. The comments that stuck with me the most back then were the ones saying, I don't see many people discussing the difficult parts of growing up, only the easy and fun parts. This is really cool to see. I went through this too, but I was too scared to talk about it. This video is giving me the courage to get help. Thank you for talking about serious stuff like this. This feedback made me rethink the idea that making a video with a serious topic was somehow a bad thing, because clearly, it was becoming a strength. There are a lot of horrible things we go through that are really tough to talk about, let alone find helpful information about. And I know that feeling of loneliness all too well. Around the same time I was in high school, watching silly animated videos about butts and working at Disney, I was also looking up videos about mean boyfriends. Boyfriends who yell at you. Boyfriends who threaten you. Boyfriends who call you fat, ugly, worthless, all kinds of horrible things. Unless you do what they say. 'Cause I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I must have been such a deplorable 16-year-old girlfriend to be deserving this kind of treatment from a 20-year-old man. But then I stumbled across a video of a girl sitting on her bedroom floor, and she opened up about what it was like to be in an abusive relationship, how they met, how he was nice at first, and how he slowly but surely changed her life for the worse, and how hard and unsafe it was to leave. But there she was, sitting there right in front of me, and now living a life so much more open and happy after leaving that guy. She was okay. And although it took me a couple more years to safely leave my abusive relationship, I wish I could remember her username so I could say thank you. 'Cause I don't see many people discussing the difficult parts of growing up, only the easy and fun parts. I went through this, but I was too scared to talk about it. And your video gave me the courage to get help. So thank you for talking about serious stuff like this on YouTube. So there I was in my college apartment, thinking about that girl and the massive impact she had on my life. And I wanted to pay it forward. So I made a video called How I Met My Abusive Ex-Boyfriend, and I began working on the How I Left video to come after it. I made sure to include all the vocab words and resources I wish I could have had back then when I needed it. And that video blew the heck up. It reached so many people far and wide that the other girl who my ex was also treating horribly reached out to me, and I got to meet her, and we talked, and she was able to answer so many questions I had about it all. And of course, the comment section of these videos were a dumpster fire. But you guys know, I'm not the only one on here or other platforms who occasionally experience absolute creeps and weirdos. So I know I can't be the only online content creator who continues to ask themselves, why would anyone do this job? But then I have another idea. I write another script, I make another video. Because despite everything, I love drawing, I love animating, and I love telling stories. But you should know, I can't say for sure if I'll be a YouTuber forever. Just as I accidentally fell into this line of work, I was just as surprised to find I landed a voice acting role in freaking Beastars? It's small, I voice a bunch of random rabbits, it's been out for a while now, but still, it was so much fun, and I didn't know I could do that. I want to do more of that. But I know these things aren't always going to be on YouTube. Sometimes they have paywalls and all kinds of mainstream industry isms that are far less appealing than a quick little YouTube video. So whether you are or aren't able to follow my journey as an artist from here on out, thank you all so much for believing in me. Seriously, thank you. And as always, stay safe.
Excuse me. Oh, hi. Hello. I came to remind you, as your neighbor, that this complex echoes, and you are being very loud.
But it's my birthday.
Look, I see all of you are having fun, but that doesn't mean the rest of us are, okay?
That's bullshit.
This is great.
Sing Let It Go from Frozen.
That's it. I'm calling the cops.
I've talked before about all the musical theater shows I was in and how I was usually part of the chorus. And although at the time I was sad that I didn't get the roles I wanted, whether I had the courage to actually try out for those roles is neither here nor there. But I realized recently those thousands of hours I put into singing actually made a difference. Growing up, I'd always been interested in music, but unfortunately, I was musically ungifted. And it wasn't without trying. My dad loves playing guitar, he's great at it, he even repairs and builds his own. And he tried to teach me, but my hands are small, so I couldn't really reach all the thingies on it. After that, I considered drums, but not only are they very expensive, loud noises give me the heebie-jeebies. And as for piano...
Okay, start with the C. Okay, that's a G.
How do you know that?
So that left me with the only instrument I guess God could trust me with, my voice. Shh. In the beginning, I was self-taught. I just sang along to songs on the radio and tried to make my voice sound like theirs. I paid attention as much as I could in elementary music class. Later on, I did chorus, and eventually, I got into musical theater. And that's where I really learned how to sing. Though at times, it felt kinda silly.
My mommy made me mash my M&Ms, I cried. My mommy made me mash my M&Ms.
And at other times, scary?
Rose, rose, rose red, will I ever see thee wed? Will I ever see thee wed? Will I ever see thee wed? At thy will, sire, at thy will.
But that's the point of vocal warm-ups. If you want to hit those high notes, you gotta say red leather, yellow leather 5 times fast. You wouldn't run a marathon without popping one of these. Oh, not again. One of the first things new singers struggle with is singing from their diaphragm instead of their throat. By that I mean, you know how when you hiccup and your chest goes pufferfish mode for a second? That pufferfish is your diaphragm. Pushing your voice from there is proper technique. But how do you go about practicing this? Now sing.
Okay. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Ooh, I do feel a difference.
Sorry, it's not working for me.
Oh, don't worry, man. I got you.
Oh, thanks. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Ooh.
Now, these techniques are just a few of many. Remember, I did theater, where the #1 rule was you must pronounce every consonant clearly, so every person in the audience, even the people in the way back row, can hear you.
But I've got a doctor's note.
If I can't feel a hurricane of spit on my face, then you're not enunciating enough. So I can only imagine how different singing must be in a recording studio. Well, I did imagine for a while, and then one day, I tried it out. A little over a year ago, I became friends with Oreo. You definitely know Oreo from her Bendy and the Ink Machine song. If not her original Encanto song featuring the voice actress of Dolores from the movie, no big deal. Anyway, after a super fun night of karaoke, she asked me to sing a part in her upcoming original Christmas song. And I was so honored to be asked, but also super scared, since people know me for animating, not singing. I mean, sure, I'd put out a couple songs on my channel before, but I didn't see myself taking music that seriously. But then again, I had such a great time. The song came out amazing. I even got to be in the music video, and I met a bunch of really awesome, super talented people. One of them was Jacob Alfarad, who had just released his first album, Frozen in Time, and it was incredible. And sure, his YouTube audience knows him for being an epic gamer, but that didn't stop him from being an epic singer. He's great at it. Look at him go. So I went up to him and said, "Hey, how did you do that? I wanna do that.
You wanna do what?
I wanna make music.
Really?
Really."
Cool.
So Jacob put me in touch with his music producer of that album, Johnny Manchild. True story.
That's exactly how it went.
Word for word. And I somehow worked up the courage to ask him to produce not just one song, but a full EP, 6 songs. And he said,
Cool, just send me the demos and we can get started in the studio.
and I said, demos! Yes, of course! And then I procrastinated for a month because I was too scared and self-conscious to record anything. I've always been a visual artist, a drawer, as the kids would say. Sure, I enjoyed singing and songwriting too, but I barely understood the process of making a song. Eventually, I forced myself to record my singing set to a metronome, emailed them off, and screamed into a pillow. After that, Johnny and I sat down and roughed out each song on the piano. He tried to teach me piano. It did not work, so we had to recruit some people. Then in March, I booked king-size sound labs here in Los Angeles. Me, Johnny, his drummer Ethan, our audio engineer Ruddy, and a stray dog named Penny who wandered in and out of the studio for pets, worked tirelessly on this EP from sunup to sundown for a week straight. And it was a blast. And that's when I realized this was the biggest project I had ever worked on. and it was only just beginning. Music had creatively unlocked something within me, and my mind was swimming with ideas for music videos that I couldn't wait to get started on. And I knew this would take months to produce, along with a frame-by-frame animation team to animate, and a film crew to pull it all together, but I was so excited to be on this journey. So with that, I'd love to share with you something special I've been secretly working on for the past 12 months. My first ever EP, Neverland. You can listen to my passion project on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever else you like to listen by clicking the link in the description. And lastly, may I present the music video for Neverland.
Flashes in the sky make me think of us. You just missed your flight. You were kissing me with tongue. And I still have your chapstick, and I still see you laughing. But no one's in my passenger seat. If only we could be shooting stars, running free. Never had to settle down in someone's galaxy. If only we could reach through time and space to meet. Maybe then I could fall asleep. What if we ran away, found our way to Neverland? To hide again, stay awake, never getting old. Hand in my undying hand, never letting go. Hotel holidays make me think of us. You begged me to stay, but 2 days was enough. And I still have your chapstick, 'cause I'm afraid of asking if every nightmare happened 'cause of me. If only we could be storybooks, fantasies. The power of our love could conquer anything. If only there were kingdoms and dragons to defeat. Maybe then I could fall asleep. What if we ran away, found our way to Neverland? Renegades, never had to hide again. Stay awake, never getting old. Hand in my undying hand, never letting go. It's not too late. We'll be king and queen of Neverland. Just run away with me. I can't wait. Everything we need's in Neverland. Cold December nights make me think of us. Looking at the lights when you told me you were done. So I threw out your chapstick, your memories, your magic, and burned my favorite books of fantasies. But if you ran away, we could find our Neverland. Every day I'd write our letters in the sand. Say your
Wait, I'm 24. Did I pay my taxes? Nope! And you forgot to come to my class this entire semester. But if you pass this one test, you will pass my class. Ooh! Personally, I don't think dreams can tell us any more than we already know. I don't believe dreams can predict the future or teleport us to another realm, but what do I know? Dreams are a mystery. Some scientists say it's just your brain defragging the hard drive. Like, your brain's got a lot of information up there, so maybe it's trying to figure out better ways to streamline your thinking patterns for later. But in doing so, random things pop up in our dreams. 101 facts about Animal Crossing. Yeah, we need that one. Why Cats the Musical is actually pretty good, but the movie is lackluster in comparison. Oh yeah, that's a good one to bring to parties. Wait, what?
Victory Royale.
Oh, push that one to the front.
Get down, 10 kills on the board right now, just like Tomato Town.
As a kid, though, I had a lot of nightmares. It would get so bad, I'd be afraid to fall asleep. But then I watched The Wizard of Oz, and at the end, when Dorothy clicked her heels 3 times and said, "There's no place like home," she returned home, and she woke up. For it was all a dream. And you were there, and you were there, and I was getting chased by giant school buses. And I thought that was pretty cool. So, since I was a child and still believed in magic, I thought I'd try it out for myself. So one night when I was having another horrible giant school bus dream, I clicked my heels 3 times and said, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home." And I woke up. It was crazy. And it was awesome. I didn't know it at the time, but I was well on my way to lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is basically when you're able to recognize that you're dreaming and then take control of your dreams. It's not easy. It doesn't always pan out how you want to, but I have been escaping to Hogwarts since 6th grade, so it's pretty cool. If you want to try lucid dreaming, here are some tips. First things first, during the day when you're awake, realize that. Ask yourself, how do you know you're awake right now and not dreaming? I can tell because everything's normal, I can't fly, and I have 0 control, and the future terrifies me. Correct! On to the next step. Practicing this awareness during the day can help you later when you're dreaming, because eventually you'll go, wait a sec, this is not normal. I can fly, and I do have control over everything in this universe. I want to be real! It might just be that easy for you. But not for everyone, because it can be kind of scary in the moment when you realize you're dreaming. It can get a little existential. But here are some tips and tricks to help you realize if you're dreaming. Number 1, look at your hands. Sometimes your brain doesn't do a very good job at remembering what hands look like, so you might look down and see more fingers than normal, things moving around and changing shape, or just hands that don't look like hands. Number 2, look at a clock. It's also not that easy for your brain to keep track of time or make sense of it in a dream. And number 3, look in a mirror. Your brain can't process coming up with reflections very well, so it could show you something that doesn't look like you at all. But this is where lucid dreaming sometimes goes off the rails. A long time ago, I read somewhere that for some people, lucid dreaming can turn into sleep paralysis. Sleep paralysis is a lot like lucid dreaming where you're aware of what's going on, except sometimes you see shadowy demonic creatures and you can't move or scream. So yeah, one moment you're at Hogwarts romancing Draco Malfoy, and the next you got a real-life Dementor sucking your soul out of your body. And I think I had something like that happen. It sure did suck. One night back in college, I was having a really weird dream. In the dream, I woke up in my bed right where I had fallen asleep, but my room had this creepy, desaturated look to it. I thought, yep, this is a dream all right. Ooh, let me try that mirror thing. It was just a dream. So yeah, after that, I don't mess with mirrors. They scare the shit out of me, even in real life. Anyway, let me know what your terrifying dreams are in the comments below. Thank you for watching my videos, and as always, stay scary. Stay safe.
Boo! Scared you, didn't I? Yes, I am dressed up as Skimbleshanks the Railway Cat from the unintended horror that was Cats the Musical 2019. Whoa! And yes, this video is sponsored by Shudder. God. The largest, fastest growing curated selection of thrilling and dangerous entertainment for only $5.99 a month. That's $1, 2, 3, 4, 5.99. Shudder is basically the Netflix of all things horror, but Shudder's unique collection is unparalleled, unexpected, and uncluttered, filled with new supernatural terrors, scarier than this, exclusive films and series, blockbuster hits we all know and love, and so much more added every week for ad-free streaming on all of your devices. Yes, that means jump scares on the toilet. So if sleep paralysis demons, or whatever this is, isn't scary enough for you this holiday season, yeah, Halloween's a holiday. Might I suggest joining me in watching the classic 70s hit, Carrie. And afterwards, so we don't get nightmares, we can unwind with Behind the Monsters, a new series on the origins and pop culture dominance of your favorite modern movie monsters, premiering with new episodes weekly starting October 27th. So get started by streaming the best horror, thriller, and supernatural content. Shudder's expertly curated collection includes must-see titles like Vicious Fun, The Mortuary Collection, and PG, Psycho Gorman. Plus, all the best horror documentaries and the hit Creepshow TV series from executive producer Greg Nicotero of The Walking Dead. To try Shudder for free for 30 days, go to shudder.com, that's SHUDDER.com, and use promo code illymation. That's ILLYMATION. Thanks again to Shudder for sponsoring this video. I have merch. In case you weren't able to go to VidCon, we still have some of these shirts left while supplies last. It's a really simple design, but it means a lot to me because this was the first time I was a featured creator, so it's kind of a celebration shirt. We also have these really cute plushies, again while supplies last, because once they're gone, they are gone forever. So if you'd like to support me directly, check out my merch using the link in the description below. That's it, thank you so much, let's go to the video.
Hey you! Yeah, you! Do you like cuddly soft things with knives for feet? Are you looking for a roommate who does not pay rent, but will puke on your carpet at 2 in the morning? Do you want the experience of owning one of those Sour Patch Kid gummies from the commercials where they cut your hair in your sleep and then cry when you find out? Then boy do I have the pet for you! A cat! In all seriousness, I do prefer cats over dogs, and you might be asking, but why though? Because of Luigi! That's why. And by Luigi, I don't mean the little green man with the mustache. I mean the little cat man with little tail plans and a mustache. My cat, my son, Luigi. After my first year in college, I told my parents I wanted a cat of my own. I had grown up with a cat named Cheeto all my life, but now that I was in college, I didn't have any little friends to come home to, besides the ants in my disgusting apartment. So my parents said, alright, you can get a cat, but we can't help you pay for it. So I stole one. Just kidding, I adopted. Fast forward to when I moved into my first apartment, and the hunt was on. I started at my local pet mart, and submitted an application for a super cute Siamese kitten. I wanted a Siamese, by the way, because they're usually talkative, just like my cat Cheeto. It makes me feel like they're a real part of the family, with thoughts and feelings worth sharing, and honestly, they ought to be paying rent if they have so many opinions about the way I choose to live my life. But after I submitted my application, something happened and the rescue group became oddly suspicious of me. I got a call a few days later from their representative who said,
"Yeah, it says here you'd kill the cat if it got sick or old."
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
The question was, what would you do if the cat was terminally ill?
Oh, I think I wrote something like, I'd take it to the vet, talk about treatment options, but if they found nothing could be done to cure or otherwise help with the pain, then I would consider euthanization.
So basically you'd kill it.
Wait, what?
FBI, open up!
And that's how I was blacklisted from my local PetSmart. Not clickbait, emotional.
So that meant I had to drive to my not local pet mart and hope they all weren't in cahoots. I went in with my friend and we were taken to the back to test drive some cats. This place had a ton of kittens and this lady just let them all loose. And amongst this adorable tornado of fur, my friend crouched down but realized something was hiding under her. A tiny baby kitten with a tiny baby tail. The woman explained he was the last of his litter, also the runt of his litter, and part Japanese bobtail. He has all the vertebrae like a normal cat's tail, but his bones are simply what osteologists would classify as small uwu baby bones. At least that's how I understood it. So the rescue group creatively named this bobtail kitten Bob. That's lame. What about Luigi? And just like that, his name was Luigi. Just look at him. Bob? Whack. Luigi? Snack. I filled out the application, successfully passed the background check, and in 24 hours, he was mine. It all happened so quickly and easily, and it suddenly hit me that this is my cat. He's my responsibility. He's gonna depend on me to feed him, look after him, and love him until I'm like 30 at least. This was such a huge commitment, but in time, Luigi made it easy. Just kidding! As the seasons changed, so too did something in Luigi. Something sinister. As it turns out, bobtails are also talkative, which was great. But Luigi was fixed too early, meaning he never went through cat puberty. Therefore, his voice never got deeper, making him forever sound like a 2-year-old going, "Ha."
You just want love. I'm sorry.
At night, he'd endlessly scream, "Ha," in his tiny, shrill, annoying little ooh-woo baby voice. He was also weaned too early, so he'd suck on everything, leaving the nasty stench of kitten breath lingering in every room. He was also adamant that we weren't feeding him enough, so he'd dangerously try and fail jumping onto the counters for anything remotely edible. When we wouldn't give him enough attention, he'd bite our faces and teeth on our possessions. And Luigi has expensive tastes. I cannot count the number of headphones, laptop cords, and charging cables he's completely destroyed. And if this wasn't enough, his lonely meltdowns, perceived starvation, and destructive teething all work together in harmony to produce a dangerous habit of eating non-food items for attention. So along with the late night screaming and sucking and biting and chewing, we'd get puking. Puking up the hairbands, twisty ties, receipts, the note my mom always put in my lunchbox, leaves, Pokemon Band-Aids, toilet paper, a shoelace. God, one time he ate a frickin' balloon. Deflated, of course, but still, he ate a balloon on Free Balloon Day. Now, when you adopt an animal, especially a young animal, you must keep in mind that a new environment can be very stressful, and their personality and behavior is going to be all over the place. And I knew and understood this quite well. So for that reason, I wrote a huge email to the rescue group saying how much of a noisy, rambunctious, lonely, literal trash-eating hassle Luigi has proven himself to be, and that I will be returning him so he may find a better fit owner as soon as possible. And I was just about to hit send when something inside me said, wait, just take a deep breath and sleep on it. And that was one of the best decisions of my life. I took some time to actually get to know him, get to know his personality. I now understand he's a really curious cat, and he's also very smart. I just had to give him the chance. In retrospect, I think it was just Terrible 2's Cat Edition, and he's doing great now. I've done more positive reinforcement training to teach him how to do high fives without claws, and he gives me a hug and a kiss to show affection. I still have not found that balloon he ate, but I took him to the vet, they did x-rays, and he is fine. I don't know where the balloon went, but it's not inside of him anymore. That's a 1 from me. Anyways, thank you for watching my videos. Don't let your cats eat garbage, and as always, stay safe.
Hello, thank you for making it to the end card, and thank you Rebecca Parham for voicing some lines for me in this video. If you'd like to support me directly, I have a Patreon, and I'm also switching merch companies to Creator Inc. So check those links in the description, and as always, thank you so much for everything.
I need to pee, Weege. I need to pee. You need to respect that.
Alright, who's back for the chaos?
I'm back for the chaos!
I said, who's back for the chaos?
I'm back for the chaos!
In case you missed the first part of this 3-part video series about my abusive ex-boyfriend, here's what you need to know. When I was 13, I was coerced into an abusive relationship by a grown man who threatened to harm himself or me if I didn't send him at least 30 snapshots of my underage body every day, no matter what. Whew. That was a mouthful. Anyway, I left off in the last video explaining that this was only the beginning, because Harris pressured, manipulated, and threatened me into leaving all of my family in North Carolina and going to a college that he chose for me 30 minutes from his house in California. Hashtag relationship goals, am I right? Nope. Nope, I'm not. Now, before we get into the thick of it, I really want to stress this. Don't blame my parents for what happened to me. Stranger danger? Got it. No squares? Don't touch them. They taught me to stand up to people like Harris. They even tried breaking us up at one point because they were suspicious that this very thing was happening. And that's a whole nother story I'll have to get into later. Just please understand, they did everything they could to protect me. But mom and dad can't always stop bad people from doing bad things. So if you're looking for someone to blame here, maybe blame the guy who abused me? I don't know. It was a long shot. I just thought I'd throw it out there. If you remember from last time, Harris told me to never tell my parents about our friendship. But as our relationship grew worse and worse, my gut was like, girl, this is whack. And y'all, when something doesn't feel right, listen to your gut. So in an attempt to leave, I came clean to my parents about talking to Harris. But I was too afraid to talk about the abuse. I felt like I deserved it for not listening to them earlier, you know? So when I came clean, I was expecting, no, I was hoping, praying they'd take my phone away, throw my computer in a dumpster, and burn the Wi-Fi. Since Harris wasn't letting me go, I saw my parents as the only way out. Again, they tried breaking us up in the past, years prior. I didn't care what kind of trouble I would be in now, as long as they got him out of my life. And my parents said, look, you're 17. You'll be 18 in September. You're going off to college soon. You're becoming an adult. If you trust this guy now, so can we. And hearing that, knowing the gross things he was doing to me, and knowing if I spoke out about it that he'd kill himself or me, I felt like I was telling my parents the biggest lie to their face. But I didn't know what else to do, because Harris was saying stuff like this. A little later, I was accepted to a college Harris chose for me. Tuition started at $30,000 a year, but he said, money doesn't matter, love does. How nice! I'm being sarcastic. So in February, my mom and I flew out to California to visit the school and meet Harris and his family for the first time. On the car ride to his house, I was holding the flowers we got for his family. I remember feeling so torn about it all. Is this what love is? He told me that this is love. This is what boyfriends and girlfriends do for each other. This was my first real boyfriend, too, and he was so much older than me, so I guess he knew best. He also treated me horribly, called me fat, and demanded pictures even though I cried every time. Why am I at his house? Why am I here with my mom? Why are we meeting him and his parents? Why am I not saying anything? Why am I not screaming? Why am I not... Alyssa? And the first thought that came to mind when I saw Harris in person for the first time was this. Oh, I can kick your butt. Seriously. The first thought that came to mind when I finally met this guy who's abusive and supposed to be my boyfriend was, oh, I am confident I could kick your butt right here, right now. This kid was thinner than a string bean. Mother trucker had a BMI of 2, maybe. And look, I talk a lot of shit for someone who can barely hold a gallon of milk. But when you come into my life and make me feel body conscious, you better be buffing the Mr. Clean with that attitude. Up until now, I was afraid of Harris. But after seeing the weak little chicken leg he really was in person, I felt powerful. I felt confident. I felt reassured that I could handle his abuse, that if he did try to hit me, abuse me, or even kill me, I could defend myself. I felt at ease in our relationship. Seriously, that's how messed up your reasoning gets in these kinds of relationships. And this is called rationalizing. Rationalizing is an attempt to explain or justify one's own or another's behavior or attitude with logical, plausible reasons, even if these reasons aren't true or appropriate. On top of that, I remember thinking too, if I called the police, I don't have any bruises. They won't be able to get him out of my life for good if there's no physical evidence of his abuse. Sticks and stones will break your bones, but words can't hurt you, right? I need to wait till he snaps. Then I'm a victim of abuse. Otherwise, I'm just crazy and overreacting like Harris says I am. Then we went on our first date. We went to a pretty outdoor mall, and the plan was to get dinner, see a movie, and for me to be back at the hotel by 12. but that didn't happen. When we entered the theater, Harris noticed that we were the only ones there. He then pressured me into doing things with him. I firmly said no, but while we were watching the movie, he grabbed me and touched me, and I freaked out. I told him not to do that, and again I said, I don't want to do anything in the movie theater. After a little while of just sitting and watching the movie, he said, you know what, this is boring, let's go, and he walked out. And since I was from the middle of nowhere and didn't know Uber was a thing, also I've literally never been to California and have no idea where I am, he was my only way home. So I followed him out. By this time, the rest of the mall was closed and everything was dark. There was no one around, just me and him. And as we walked through this deserted mall, he leaned over and said, I've had a all night for you. I told him I needed to be back at 12, so we should probably get going. What? We finally meet in person, we go on our first date, and we don't even make out? That's not fair. Okay, we can make out in the car then, but after that, I need you to take me back. And by the way, you don't owe anyone anything, boy or girl, young or old, especially when they treat you like this. Consent is everything. Consent is permission for something to happen or the agreement to do something. And if you have to convince, manipulate, or beg someone to do something, that's not consent. There's a really good video that uses tea to explain consent. I'll leave a link to that in the description. So we get in his car and we make out for a little bit. And on top of being a predator, an abuser, and an all-around piece of garbage, he was also a horrible kisser. That's the tea, sis. I kept an eye on the time and watched as it ticked past my curfew. We should really go now. Nah, your mom's probably asleep. It'll be fine. Which was true. She wasn't calling me or texting me or asking where I was. I wish she was doing that. Okay, well, I'm afraid someone will see us making out and we'll get in trouble, so I should really go back to the hotel. I have an idea. How about we go into a parking garage and do some stuff there? No, I'd really rather just go back to the hotel. I'll bring you back after. You worry too much. No, I don't want my mom to get mad at me. I really would just rather... So, he drove us to a parking garage. I don't like that section of the mall anymore. By the time he dropped me off, my mom was awake. She told me how worried she was, how I should have at least texted her, should have called her, should have said something, done something, let her know what was going on. And I agreed. As I took my shoes off, I just felt so weird. I wanted to scream, to cry, to tell my mom what just happened to me with that man right there in the doorway, but I was so shocked. I couldn't say anything. I was so mad at myself. What happened to thinking I was stronger than him, that I could and would defend myself? Why didn't I fight back? Why did I freeze up? Why did I just sit there and cry and let it happen to me? No one's gonna believe me now. I didn't put up a fight. I don't have any bruises. And even though I said no 1,000,000 times, maybe I should have said it louder. Maybe it's my fault. After that, I flew back to North Carolina, and my mental health only worsened. I became apathetic, depressed, irritable, anxious. I kept having nightmares about that night. I'd wake up crying or screaming. Since February 5th, I had completely shut down, as if Harris had successfully reprogrammed me to be his little robot. When he texted me, I texted back immediately. When he wanted me to be awake, I stayed awake. And when he demanded pictures, I sent them. 6 months later, mid-August, I flew back to California, this time to stay. My whole family went with me for orientation week and move-in. During this time, Harris demanded to be there every second of the day. But of course, he couldn't. And I couldn't change that. Finally, one day, I found the courage to put my foot down and say, I need a break. I need you to leave me alone. We can hang out after orientation ends, on Thursday. And as you can imagine, Harris didn't like me having this much control. He blew up my phone with his usual threats before giving me the silent treatment. Monday night, my school hosted a barbecue at the beach, and I actually had a great time. I met a ton of people who would later become some of my best friends, but when I got back to my dorm, Harris called me. Where are you? I'm at my dorm. Why aren't you answering me? We're on a break till Thursday. Just read what I said. And he hung up. That's when I realized I had 8 missed calls and 24 unread texts. I was standing in my dorm room, boxes everywhere, looking at my school schedule. Where class wasn't written, Harris was. And that's when I realized I just couldn't do this anymore. But I knew every time I tried to leave in the past, he threatened the worst of the worst. And I stayed with him to avoid that. So me leaving meant it might really happen. But I decided I'd rather die putting up a fight than let him have his way with me any longer. At least then, there'd be evidence. And it happened. I called him, and I told him I was breaking up with him. He screamed at me, threatened to kill himself. He threatened to kill me. I hung up, and he texted me, "Die, die, 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 die. I hope you die. You deserve to die." Then he went silent. I was used to this when I lived thousands of miles away from him, but now that he was 30 minutes north, he knew what college I was at, he knew where I was. I locked the door and called the police. I told the operator what was going on, and she told me to come down to the station to file a report and a restraining order, but that didn't happen.
When I showed the officer my ID, he refused to believe a 17-year-old from North Carolina was attending a college up the street, and therefore refused to believe anything else I had to say. He refused me a restraining order. He refused to even investigate. He threw my license back at me and said, "Next time, leave the adult things to the adults. Okay, sweetheart? And if you go running back to your little boyfriend, don't call us." And look, I understand that might be hard to believe, but the fact is, this is what happens in these kinds of cases.
Some cops are nice. Some cops are helpful. And then some just don't see how fatal these situations can be. In 2016, about a year and a half after the parking garage incident, I learned the statute of limitations for what happened to me would be up soon. Statute of limitations refers to a statute prescribing a period of limitation for the bringing of certain kinds of legal action. So basically, if a crime is committed, depending on where you live, you have a certain amount of time to report it. And this is where people like me get a lot of backlash. There are a million reasons why it's so hard to seek justice, let alone even leave an abusive relationship. I mean, just look at what Harris would do. Some abusers actually go through with those threats. Some stalk you long after it happens, and I'm one of the lucky ones who's still alive to tell this story. And on top of that, some police just don't listen to people like me. They refuse restraining orders. They refuse to even investigate. They refuse to listen. Why? You're overreacting. It's not that serious. Quit blowing things up out of proportion. And honestly, hearing those words from your abuser, and then from the people who are supposed to help you, it breaks you. It reaffirms what should never be said. I was afraid to go back to the station after what that cop told me, but I also knew I deserved and needed help. And thankfully, a really nice officer who I would love to name, but I respect his privacy, helped me out. But we couldn't get a strong enough case. There was no way to press charges against him, because we can't prove he sent those messages. He could easily say, "Yeah, that's my computer and my account, but my sister wrote that. You can't prove I typed that out and hit send," and he'd be right. The only way to fight this is through getting his confession, which we tried, but of course he refused and blocked my number. That's why charges were never filed. That's why I didn't get justice. And that's why he is still out there. That's why I avoid going certain places where I know he might be. That's why I keep tabs on his social media, because he started going places near my school and apartment. That's why it's hard for me to fall in love again. It's hard for me to trust people. It's hard for me to understand what relationships even are, or what their purpose is. But thankfully, I'm with much better people now. A month after leaving Harris, I dated a guy named Calvin. He was super sweet. He never treated me anything like Harris did. He respected my boundaries, and he liked me just for me, baggage and all. We later broke up because we were better off as friends, and we still are. Hi, Calvin. A few months later, I caught up with a friend you guys might know, Chris Tanimato. At the time, he had just started working for It's Alex Clark. After some awkward nights, Chris and I ended up dating. And that's a really good story I can't wait to tell. I interned for a little bit for It's Alex Clark, and I learned how to do storytime animation on YouTube. I started posting videos in January 2018, and I gained a bit of traction. And from there, I made a bunch of really good online friends. And I met them at my first VidCon in 2018. Someone also stole my phone at VidCon, which had a really pathetic voicemail that Harris left me when I broke up with him. But since I can't retrieve it, here is a dramatic reenactment. Lissa, why won't you pick up? You need to call me back. Call me back. And here is his final Facebook message to me. Ah, memories. After that, I landed a summer job working for Tim Tom. I kept posting videos, and I posted part 1 of this video. And it blew up. And I know a lot of people would say to that, well, I guess things happen for a reason, but I don't think so. I don't want to thank Harris for putting me through this awful thing just because it led me to where I am now. He doesn't deserve credit for that. In fact, he doesn't deserve anything short of being dipped into a volcano limb by limb and dying a slow and horrible death. But that's just my opinion. What matters here is I finally chose my own path. But after staying in California all these years, knowing Harris is just up the road from me, he's watching everything I do, he's going to places he knows I'll be, I better give him something to look at.
I know, there's something here that he's not telling me.
I was worried because I was like, what if he does something to my family?
Age 13 to 18, like that was my everyday.
You don't know the depths of it.
Where's the other eye? I'm not there yet. Is it a cyclops? It's not, just give me a second. Can you draw me? No! Get out of here!
Growing up, I was known as one of the art kids. When there was a page to color, the other kids would borrow my markers. When there was a poster to make, that's when people wanted me in their group. And when I wasn't struggling to run the mile in gym class, I was drawing Lion King fan art in my notebooks. And when I felt my best, I was in art class. At my high school, the art room was located kind of at the end, pushed off into a corner. And my teacher would let me and all the other art kids eat lunch in there instead of in the loud, busy cafeteria. I'm not going to use his real name because I respect his privacy, so I'll call him Mr. Hudson. Because he was a lot like Doc Hudson. You know, the fabulous Hudson Hornet from the Pixar movie Cars. Y'all have no taste. Mr. Hudson was an older dude with a deep voice, and he'd been working at this high school for years. He was kind of quiet and presumably grumpy because he mostly kept to himself. But once he realized you took art seriously, he would become kind of a mentor. When I was in school, art wasn't a very popular class to take, so if you did want to take art 2, 3, or 4, they'd often combine all the art classes together in the same period. So on my first day of art 1, the art 2 kids warned me not to get on Mr. Hudson's bad side, or else he'd bark at you. They assured me he can be really chill, he'll even let you listen to your music with headphones on. Just don't talk once class starts. And I thought they were just trying to scare me, so I didn't listen. A few minutes into class, it's quiet, I'm bored, and I didn't have my headphones. So I started talking to my friend. We weren't being loud, we were just talking, which was mistake number 2. The final mistake was when Mr. Hudson did his famous and I was like, well, obviously that wasn't directed towards me.
Enough.
So from that moment on, I did not speak a word until the bell rang, and I was super intimidated by him, especially during critique. Every day, he'd check in one-on-one and give really good constructive criticism. He wouldn't just say, "That's awful, what are you doing? You should quit art forever." He would say something like,
"That's looking a little muddy. Don't forget to push the darks and pull in the lights for better contrast."
I remember I had a really bad habit of never knowing when to stop working on something. Like, I'd be so obsessed with perfection that I wouldn't be turning things in on time. So he started checking in on me sooner, though sometimes it was too late. Aside from art advice, he would also offer life advice. And by life advice, I mean he let us sneak into the teacher's lounge to use the vending machine, allegedly. Allegedly. So if he says he doesn't remember this, I don't either. Must have been a dream. And in that maybe dream, Mr. Hudson came into class with this huge bag and said,
"Come get a snack."
And it was stuffed with vending machine food, the good kind. Candy bars, fruit snacks, donuts, guava juice, giant snake, birthday cake, large fries, chocolate chip. Why did you spend so much money on snacks?
I didn't.
He slid his keys to me.
The machine says there's 75 cents already in it. Put 5 cents in, press 501, get the snack. Wait 5 seconds, the machine will read 75 cents again, put another 5 cents in, and bring back as much as you can before anyone sees you.
Okay.
Don't add more than 5 cents or it won't work.
Turns out Mr. Hudson was a chaotic good, and I was lawful good. Who would have thought? Not me.
Why didn't you get more?
I felt bad. To Mr. Hudson's dismay, the vending machine was eventually fixed, so we had to bring our own snacks again. By this time, I was maybe a junior, and I was going through hell outside of school. I was with a bad boyfriend, to say the least, and around this time, he was pressuring me to lose weight. I already felt body conscious, as most people do as a teenager, so I started skipping lunch. I want to be very clear here, this isn't healthy. It only left me feeling tired and irritable and hungry from the lack of nutrients I needed. If you're struggling with a problem like this, make sure to check the helpful links in the description. One day while I was painting, Mr. Hudson pulled me aside and asked if I was okay. He noticed how little I was eating and how it was affecting me. I lied and told him, "It's fine, I'm just not that hungry." And he said,
Okay. I was just nervous and I wanted to make sure you were all right.
and he walked away. He didn't tell the nurse. He didn't tell the principal. He didn't even tell my parents. He honestly totally should have for my safety, but still. It meant a lot that he approached me to talk first. It meant the world that my art teacher was looking out for me like that. I still struggle with how I look and how to treat my body nicely, but when times get tough, I often think about that conversation we had. Despite having the most supportive art teacher a high schooler could ask for, being given the freedom to make anything I wanted to, and having an entire studio all to myself at times, I feel selfish admitting the biggest struggle I've had with art was giving up. There was a painting in the cafeteria of our school mascot. It was super old, and we were confident we could replace it with something bigger and better. So Mr. Hudson said,
Okay, I'll give one of you a big canvas and you can redo it.
and that is a big deal. A project this big would cost a lot of money, and North Carolina is one of the poorest states for school funding. So Mr. Hudson most likely spent a lot of his own money in that classroom. Replacing this mascot painting was a big responsibility, and I insisted on doing it. My initial sketch looked fine, but when I started painting, it looked awful. I tried pushing the darks and pulling in the lights to add more contrast, but that wasn't helping either. I knew I could just stop for today and come back to it tomorrow, but I didn't want to leave it like this. What if someone came in and saw it? They'd think it's worse than the original. And they'd be right. Why am I even trying? During this time, Mr. Hudson would come in and check on my progress pretty often. He would comment on a few things, remind me to check my references and anatomy, that kind of stuff. But everything he was telling me was going in one ear and out the other. Because mentally, I had already thrown in the towel. And as soon as he left, I grabbed the biggest brush I could find and I painted over the entire thing. I covered it all up with black paint. And as I sat and stared at the blank canvas, I figured it didn't matter how hard I tried if I couldn't do it right. At some point, Mr. Hudson came back in and saw what I did. And I expected him to be mad at me, because he totally should have. I was wasting art supplies, I was hogging this opportunity that someone else could be doing better, and worst of all, I had ruined all that I just worked on.
You give up on yourself far too easily. Art has a dumb teenage phase. It doesn't look the way you want it to right now because it's not finished. You need to finish it. You can't give up halfway through.
I remember on my last day of high school, right before I graduated, I came into class and saw a little red sketchbook laying in my spot. I asked Mr. Hudson if someone left it there, but he said,
Nope, that's yours.
and it was a really cool sketchbook. It had a little strap to hold it closed, the paper was really good quality, and it was the perfect size for travel. Something to take with me to California, where I'd go on to study animation, and later, out of the blue, find my way onto YouTube. And the best part about this sketchbook was, he left a note inside.
Perhaps you can create a character based on me one day. No matter how bizarre it is, I will not be offended. Good luck forever, Hudson.
I know a lot of you guys who watch my videos want to do digital art and animation as a career too, but when it comes to hardware, you're not sure where to start. I think it's my turn to be your Mr. Hudson. So, everybody shut up. Because this video is sponsored by Micro Center, a computer retail store for all your techie and creative needs. Micro Center sells computers, monitors, cameras, sick gamer gear, and even tablets. You know, the ones for digital art and animation. Also the ones your baby cousins drool all over, if that's what you're looking for. It looks kind of wet, but I don't know, whatever floats your boat, I'm not here to judge. I recommend this cute little Wacom Intuos pen tablet. It's a lot like the first tablet I had back in high school. It's lightweight, portable, and super easy to use. Just plug it into your computer and get back to work, no talking in my classroom. Ooh, nice shading. Whether you shop in-store or online, you'll find the best prices. Plus, Micro Center offers tons of great deals, and their friendly associates can help you find or even build the best PC for your top secret gamer project happening next year. Oh, you didn't hear that.
Micro Center will be offering new customers a free 128GB USB flash drive and a 128GB micro SD card as well. Just think of all the Twitch emotes I could put on this thing. If you're a new customer, click the link in the description and head to your local Micro Center for your goodie bag. And for all you aspiring creatives, let me know which Wacom tablet you'll be adding to your wish list this holiday season. And thank you again to Micro Center for sponsoring this video.
Please, Connor, do a great job. Right, okay. I feel like I'm giving orders to Snake. Snake, get in. I don't know if that's the vibe you're going for. That's what I... You should have robbed the place. I would have taken... I understand. I forget this is a real story.
Alright, who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos!
I said who's here for the chaos?
I'm here for the chaos!
This is a super long story, and it's really hard to condense without cutting out any important details. So this is part 1 of a 3-part series. The other 2 parts will be linked in the description and made into a playlist on my channel as soon as I finish them. Whew. Okay, I'm gonna start out with what you absolutely need to know. I dated in quotes because that's illegal. It started when I was 13 and he was 17.
That's an exaggeration. Nice clickbait, Illy.
No, it is not an exaggeration. If you're 17 years old, applying to colleges, driving, maybe you have a job, why would you have a crush on someone who's literally in middle school? You know what kind of boys I was into in middle school? Kovu from The Lion King 2. Moving on. But if the age difference there isn't enough to prove he was a predator, this person also pressured me into sending explicit pictures of myself and threatened me when I said no, which I did. So go ahead. Say age is just a number, and I'm blowing this whole thing up out of proportion. Go on. I'm used to it, because that's what he told me. For 5 years. Here's what happened. When I was 13, just like many of you watching, I was interested in drawing, illustrating, Kovu from The Lion King 2, making comics, digital painting, and even animating. I had a deviant art with cringy meme drawings and Lion King OCs, do not steal. Like, if you're gonna judge me on anything in this video, judge me here, okay? I was a kid. I wrote Harry Potter fan fiction. I was in middle school. I was 13, and I made an account on a now deleted website called ArtSpots. It was like Agio or Drawsome. You just draw online with other random people, and there's a chat box on the side. And in retrospect, I think ArtSpots was a furry website. Anyway, one day, someone popped in and said they liked my drawing, and they asked how old I was. I said I was 13. They said they were 17, and they thought my art was so good that I had to be an art teacher or something. Now, this may seem like a compliment, and it is, especially from someone older than you, and that's exactly what I was thinking. But considering what would later happen, this is called grooming. Grooming is when someone builds an emotional connection with a child to gain their trust for the purposes of abuse. The predator gains the child's trust, breaks down their defenses, and then convinces the child to engage in their desired disgusting acts. And I really want to stress, hindsight is 20/20. If I could gaze into the future, I would have logged off and never gotten on a computer ever again. But I'm not that so Raven. So from there, this guy shared his entire life story with me. That he was graduating high school soon, had a crush on this girl who put him in the friend zone, and he was severely depressed because of that, and all he wanted was a friend. But, and this is important, he told me to never tell my parents about our friendship. Why? Because they wouldn't understand us. We're like Romeo and Juliet, okay?
Ugh, Illy, you have to be stupid to not see these obvious red flags. I would never let that happen to me.
No, I wasn't stupid. I was 13, just like many of you watching. Just think about all the normal friends you've made online, like through Minecraft or Roblox, and then imagine if this happened to you. No one really tells you about these things, so that's all I'm trying to do in this video series. God bless. Go in peace. So eventually, we moved our conversations to AIM, then Skype, then texting. And as time went on, he demanded more and more from me. And he never seemed to understand that I was 3 hours ahead of him. I lived in North Carolina, and he lived in California. So I couldn't exactly stay up late talking every night. But to that, he'd accuse me of ignoring him and hating him. And one night when I fell asleep, I woke up to a barrage of texts from him saying he was going to kill himself because I was ignoring him. And I called him a million times, and after hours of calling and texting him that I was sorry and it wouldn't happen again, he finally responded. And thankfully he was okay. But I was not. At 13, I couldn't imagine being the reason someone killed themselves, no matter how much staying up till 1, 2, sometimes 3 in the morning was destroying me. But from that night on, out of fear, I stayed awake. By high school, our friendship completely took over my life because when I was with friends or family, he'd do anything to make me leave them and talk to him. He'd blow up my phone while I was at dinner. If I didn't respond, he'd call me awful things just to bait me into giving him attention. Even on prom night, he tried convincing me to stay home, and when I didn't comply, he went silent, which worried me to death, and he later explained he did this as a punishment for ignoring him. He would do anything and everything to keep me isolated from friends and family, and his favorite tactic? Threatening suicide.
Well, why didn't you just leave? Just log off.
I did, but again, he had every means to contact me, even my home address. So if I just logged off, he could swat me. Death was something he constantly held over my head. That's terrifying. So why did I stay? Stockholm Syndrome. Stockholm Syndrome is a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance towards their captors as a survival strategy. This can also be the case for those in abusive relationships. So, every time he threatened suicide, I would talk him off the cliff by saying exactly what he wanted to hear. I don't want to go hang out with my friends. I don't want to go eat dinner with my family. I don't want to go on that date. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go anywhere where I can't be with you. And after months and years of saying exactly what he wanted to hear, I started to believe it, just like he wanted me to. I felt brainwashed, trapped in my own mind games. And slowly, he broke me down, made me choose sides, and conditioned me to do anything he wanted. And why did he want me so badly? Well, when I was 15, he used these tactics to take inappropriate pictures of me, and he saved them on his computer in what he called his personal collection. By this time, he had just turned 21. This is where, to him, our friendship turned into a relationship. You can skip to here to avoid reading these messages.
Illy, I know you claim that this adult man pressured you into sending explicit pictures of yourself, and you have the messages to prove it. Or whatever. But shouldn't you respect his privacy and not use his real name?
He invaded my 15-year-old body! Fuck your privacy. Fuck your privacy. Every day, after school, during the summer, even while I was at work, he demanded I stop whatever I'm doing and send him no less than 30 Snapchats a day. And if I said no, which I did, he'd find a way to force me. I remember one time I begged him for hours to leave me alone. I even told him that this was considered CP and that he could go to jail. And you'd think if someone was confronted with this kind of information, they'd go,
"Oh man, I don't want to go to jail. You're right. What I'm doing is awful. I should really stop harassing and threatening you to..."
Nope. Not Harris. These pictures of me were so important to him, he'd do anything to get them. So he found a way to deny, deflect, and blame me for everything.
I can't believe you think I'm a... What is wrong with you? Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how that makes me feel as your boyfriend? That you think I'm a...
This is called gaslighting. Gaslighting is where the abuser denies reality and convinces the victim to doubt their own memory, perceptions, even sanity. And like always, Harris threatened suicide if I didn't go along with him. So when I try to tell him what he's doing is wrong, is disgusting, is against the law, I ended up being the one apologizing to him for making him cry. Cry more, dude. It's wrong. This went on until I graduated high school and went to college. Oh, and remember that girl who friend-zoned him in high school? Around this time, she reached out to me, telling me to run, to block him, to cut him off immediately. Because truly, he harassed her back in high school, stalked her in real life. And when she blocked his phone number, Harris used a website to make up fake phone numbers so he could still contact her and harass her. I didn't want to think this was true, but then again, if it was happening to someone else, maybe it was. So I brought these allegations up to Harris, and he became so angry at me. He denied doing any of that, despite the proof she had. He accused me of lying, he told me to never speak to her again, and he demanded all of my passwords on every social media platform to make sure of it. He also threatened to kill me and then himself if I didn't comply.
You could have said no.
No, I couldn't have. I was terrified. You don't know what it was like. You don't get to say that to me and millions of other young children who are lured into this kind of evil every day. We don't need to be told what to do or how to feel. We've had enough of that from these awful people who hurt us. What we need is for someone to finally listen and believe us. People like Harris do not deserve your empathy. People like Harris do not deserve the benefit of the doubt, because people like Harris thrive when others are complicit. The more we turn the other cheek, say, that's none of my business, or even worse, blame literal children for the evil they had to bear and the childhood they had to sacrifice, the more this happens, the more people like Harris get away with it and do it again. But understand, this is why I'm telling this story years after it happened. I want to warn others, especially those watching who are as young as I was. And sadly, this story is only the beginning. Most of you know, I grew up in North Carolina and moved to California for college. And a lot of you have asked me, how could you do that? You're leaving your whole family. You've never even been to California. Well, Harris made me. And I'll get into that in the next video.
Hey guys, thank you so much for making it through that video and hearing my story. I also started a second channel and I made a video about how I respond to hate comments. You can check that out right there. Thank you guys so much again for all your support, and let me know if you'd like part 2 next or something a little more lighthearted. Okay, bye!
Recently, a friend of mine told me that I say sorry too much. And yeah, he's right. I'm sorry. I'm the kind of person where if you bump into me, I will say sorry, because according to my subconscious, no, I was in your way. Please don't be mad at me. Even if you're just a display stand of cookies at the grocery store. And sometimes, most times, yeah, hurt goes both ways. All parties were at fault somehow, so everyone should just shake hands and say sorry. Let bygones be bygones. But sometimes, too, other people just hurt you. Unprovoked. They're upset about something else entirely, and they take their anger out on you. Usually their name is Karen, and it sucks. I know I've hurt people like that, and I've said, I'm sorry, even though nothing can make it better besides a time machine. But still, I think we all deserve to hear, I'm sorry for what I did, how can I help fix this? But getting to that conclusion takes a lot of effort, and part of growing up is learning to accept that in some situations, one word can't undo that kind of damage. In 6th grade, I was bullied by a girl I'll call Minnie. That's obviously not her real name, by the way. Minnie was taller than me, stronger than me, had more friends than me, and did sports. She wasn't some preppy popular kid, but she was chill with just about everyone, even some teachers. I, on the other hand, was a quiet, nervous, nerdy, shy kid who had a crush on Kovu from The Lion King 2. And that's still me today, baby. My middle school was grades 6 through 8. The incoming student body was a mix of like 2 or 3 different elementary schools, and thus I was completely separated from my longtime friends of 5th grade. So now, I guess I had to make brand new friends? And I guess me being alone made me a target for bullying. But that's not my fault. Gosh. And that's why I found it so weird when Minnie started picking on me at the very start of 6th grade. Like, dude, we just spawned. Why are you getting so aggressive? I don't even know you. I also remember her 2 little followers, Willow and Frankie, also not their real names, and them finding me in the hallways between classes to discover new ways to call me fat and ugly and stupid, and brainstorm aloud new animals to relate my body to. Penguin was their favorite, and they'd walk behind me in the hallway like penguins to mock me. I found it really weird how no one said anything to stop it. This made her behavior seem acceptable, and thus, it made it okay for others to treat me like this too. I tried to talk to people and make new friends, but they'd just straight up pretend I was invisible. When I'd raise my hand in class, some kids would mock me, and others would laugh. It seemed like I couldn't do anything without being picked on for it. This made me hate school so much, and I was scared and sad to have to go in every day. And the only way out of this was to wait for it to be over. I had to wait a whole year for 7th grade to roll around so I could pick different classes, away from Minnie. Like, I took typing class to avoid Minnie. I'm a zillennial. I can type. It was a waste of time. But, okay, I did get to play Papa's Pizzeria for like an hour every day, because I always finish my work early, so okay, maybe it worked out. But my point still stands. No one wanted to sit with me, no one wanted to be on my team, and no one wanted to be my friend for fear that whatever was wrong with me that Minnie didn't like would rub off on them too.
like lice. But I don't have lice. I'm sure everyone else did though, because they all had slumber parties, and I didn't. I wrote fan fiction by myself in my room alone every night to cope. Thank you very much. I was so confused and shocked by it all, but I thought, surely this won't last. Surely an adult will step in at some point. And one day, my teacher did. So, okay, I have acid reflux. The acid in my stomach likes to do the vertical boogie up my esophagus, and thus my tummy makes weird noises sometimes. And one time during a test, it was making weird noises. The class quietly laughed at me, which was normal and happened a lot, but then I heard my teacher say, "Alyssa, stop making stupid noises." And then my classmates laughed at me, not so quietly, and that sucked. So, Miss Middle School Teacher, I am very disappointed in your behavior, and me and my Kovu plushies, we dislike you for that. Anyway, back to Minnie. This situation proved to her that not only did the teachers not care, but they were also on her side, and I knew this too. So I tried everything to avoid Minnie and her friends. New routes to class, even if it was longer. New clothes similar to what kids like her were wearing, even if I didn't like them. New and different things to eat at lunch in hopes she wouldn't mock me for simply eating again. But none of that worked. And you want to know something crazy? These girls couldn't have been that much bigger than me. We were all like the same size. If they were chill, we could have been friends. You could be borrowing my coveted Lion King shirt, but you're not. And whose fault is that? Not mine, Minnie. Speaking of friends, I did manage to make one friend in 6th grade, but I say friend with heavy air quotes because
she instilled confidence in you and supported you, and you finally stood up to the bullies?
God, I wish. I dreamt for a day that would play out like a bad Tumblr post, where all things would magically work in my favor because I had funny, clever comebacks, and then everyone clapped. But no, here's what happened back in the real world. I'll call this friend Crystal. But Crystal wasn't really my friend. She was friends with Willow, Frankie, and Minnie. So when I'd vent to Crystal about all the awful things they were doing and saying to me, she would say,
I know, but they're nice to me, so...
Oh my god.
What? I just want to be friends with everyone. Don't make me pick sides.
Dude, you can't be friends with everyone. I'm proof of that.
Well, you know, Minnie was right. You're a...
So when my frenemy Crystal wasn't there for me, I went to my parents about Minnie and asked them what to do. And my parents told me this: just ignore it. And I know that's often the go-to answer for these kinds of situations, but I'm starting to wonder if that advice is given by people who maybe haven't been bullied before. Because I was already just ignoring it. I would walk into school, get mocked and bullied for being fat and ugly, and I said nothing and I did nothing. I'd ignore them because they just wanted a reaction and I refused to give it to them. I'd be in class, and when I'd answer a question, I was mocked and bullied for being dumb and stupid. And I said nothing and I did nothing because they just wanted a reaction and I refused to give it to them. I ignored it. They found out I was on my period and they dumped out my personal belongings onto the floor for the whole class to see. So I told my teacher, who saw the whole thing, and she told me to just ignore it. So I ignored it. Then they stole my clothes during gym class and stuffed them in a urinal. And again, when I told the teacher who saw it all play out, do you want to know what she told me? Just ignore it. So, I'm sorry. But I'm not sorry to inform you all, ignoring bullies doesn't work. Ignoring stuff like this means ignoring who is starting the fire, and ignoring the people who are getting burned. And when a teacher says to a child, just ignore it, it teaches the kid that no one cares. Because at this point, everyone knows exactly what's happening. Everyone's witnessed it on multiple occasions. And you know what they've decided to do? Ignore it. And ignore you too. So you stop asking for help, and the bullying gets worse, because it's clear no one cares. And do you have any idea what that does to a kid? So I'm here to say, you must ignore the advice to just ignore it. I don't care how much you hate yourself because of what others made you believe. You're not stupid, you're not ugly, you're not a loser. You are a person with so much inner power that your vibes intimidate people. At the very least, I'm starting to suspect that bullies may not be the best judge of character. I think those girls picked on me for being, quote, fat and ugly, not because they wanted to go on jogs together and then go to Sephora for a makeup montage. No, I'm pretty sure these 12-year-old girls, they felt fat and ugly, and then they saw me. Someone who didn't feel bad about the way they looked and was simply vibing. Or maybe it was because I was confident in my hobbies and abilities. I enjoyed drawing, my stuff got into art shows, I got A's and B's and wrote really good papers. So again, no idea where the logic is in calling me stupid. They obviously took offense to my confidence because they were jealous or felt insecure. Or, if not any of that, maybe the reason they bullied me was because making others feel like garbage is the only way they know how to be happy. And frankly, those kinds of people are pathetic. And I'll tell you now, they grow up to be a nasty breed of Karen. So to quote the playground parable, I'm rubber, you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. Pew 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 pew. I'll save you, Kovu. So that's why I ignored my parents' and my teacher's advice. I refused to ignore how Minnie, Willow, and Frankie were treating me. So I went to my teachers about it again, and this time I insisted we got the office involved. Because I wasn't playing around. Not anymore. And I knew I'd be called a snitch for it, and I sure as heck was. But hey, I've been called the other itch word a million times by now. Nothing I couldn't handle. So me, my 3 bullies, and my frenemy Crystal were all called to the guidance counselor's office. And I recall, for a brief moment, they were nervous. For once, they were quiet in the hallway. Here's the messed up part about life. It's not a Tumblr post where everyone claps at the end. Once all the cards were down, the guidance counselor, who was kind of weird and spoke to students in the third person and was totally not qualified for this job, but hey, that's public school, we're underfunded, so we take what we can get, looked at all of us, and she said, "Look, girls, Mrs. Last Name just wants everyone to be friends. Can't we all just be friends?" These girls are not my friends. You have to act like someone's friend in order to be someone's friend. That's why we're here, Mrs. Guidance Counselor, oh wise one. We can't just hold hands and sing a Barney song when 4 out of 5 of us have stinky hands. And yet, the guidance counselor insisted we all just be friends again, and everyone just say sorry. And that is when my 11-year-old brain realized a lot of things. I was dealing with people who couldn't care less about telling the truth. About being respectful, treating others the way you want to be treated, you know? Like all the posters in this office said, I had no one by my side for any of this. Crystal didn't have the courage to back me up. My teachers didn't care. Nobody did. So, what did I do?
This illymation video is brought to you by the letter C for confrontation. Learn her, respect her, but do not fear her.
I relate again, very firmly, that these girls were not my friends. They were my bullies. And peace was not an option. But the counselor didn't listen. She insisted I, and I quote, stop bullying my friends and apologize. So, that's what I did. After that, I said nothing, I did nothing, and nothing changed until I was able to move classes 1 year later. I used to have this storybook belief that when people hurt you, they will eventually say sorry and mean it. But when I was a kid, I learned that no, that's not how the world works at all. There are people who will hurt you. There are people who don't even know you who will hurt you. There are people who will turn on you just for fun, just to see how much they can get away with. Because all of us have been hurt before, and all of us are still hurting. We're all outrunning something that we don't want to deal with. But you know what? I truly am sorry you're going through it. But so am I. So is everyone. So you don't get to toss your crap into someone else's yard just because you don't want to clean it up. Maybe quit pooping in your own yard so you don't have to deal with this, oh no, where do I throw my poop problem. This is a metaphor for self-sabotage. And I don't care who witnesses me throwing your own crap out of my yard and back in your face to deal with, because we both know which stinky hand it belongs to. The second you stand your ground and take no crap, you will have that power back. The power of pity. Looking back,
I feel sorry for Minnie and Willow and Frankie and Crystal. They were probably going through something awful, and that's why they acted so horribly. Of course, that doesn't excuse it, and no amount of sorries can change the past, but the way I see it, you either run from it or learn from it. Oh, the only way they could fix a situation like this is to face whatever's making them so upset, so they can finally be happy, for their own sake and for others. And I won't lie, the things they said and did to me back then obviously still stick with me. But I do want to assure you, if you're watching this and you're in school right now and someone's making fun of you for being weird or walking weird or dressing weird or whatever crap they throw in your yard, just remember, that is just a baby Karen. And their karma will come. We've seen it. I know this video is a bit different from my usual content, but if you liked it, hit like. And if you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. And as always, stay safe.
Get one more cat and name it Mario. You need another cat named Mario. If you find another cat, name it Mario. Haha, I would love that. My friend has cat named Luigi and Mario before this video was even made. Very cool, Naruto. If you made that super original joke, you're in luck, because I did get another cat, and her name is Juniper. Or Junie. Or just June. Boo. Alright, look, here's what happened. Back before I did YouTube, back in 2017, a year had passed since I'd gotten my trash-eating cat, Luigi. And my roommate said, you know, he needs a friend. So she adopted a darling little tabby cat kitten named Junie. They aren't related, but they do look a lot alike. Now, the best way to tell them apart is Luigi has a mustache, and Junie has a shape on her face. But don't make fun of her for it. She's very self-conscious about it. Anyway, Junie was really small, smaller than Luigi was as a kitten. So small she could fit under a hat. She was really rambunctious, super affectionate. But because she was abandoned by her mother at such an early age, she was food obsessed. And not in a,
oh, would you look at the time? Feed me or I'll claw your face.
kind of way. No, I wish that's all it was. I mean food obsessed like...
Oh, what you got there? Looks pretty good. I don't think you should finish that, on your own. Do you mind if I...
Junie! What was odd though was her favorite people food to steal wasn't fish or chicken or, things cats like to eat. Junie's favorite food in the world is... bread. Fun fact about Junie, she doesn't care about lunch meat or tuna, but she really likes bread. No! This has become such a problem in our household that we can't leave a loaf of bread on the counter or else our resident raccoon will get into it. But if we throw it away, we have to make sure the trash-eating cat Luigi doesn't team up with her. Oh yeah, Luigi. How did he react to his new baby sister? Yeah, not so great. We weren't well educated, so we made the mistake of not introducing them slowly like you're supposed to. So instead of getting to know his new baby sister at a nice pace, it was more like...
Hi, my name is Junie. I'm this many and we're gonna be best friends forever.
So yeah, they're a lot like human siblings. If one of them is in a comfortable spot, the other will bully them out of it or just sit on them to take it over. If one of them is offered a treat, they both have to have a treat or else I will never hear the end of it. And if one goes to the vet and the other is left home alone, they get kind of mad when the other returns. I heard a rumor about you.
Oh no! What is it?
I heard you're adopted.
What?
Yup. Mom said she found you in the pound and she had to fill out paperwork to get you.
What?
Jesus Christ, Luigi, you're both adopted. But that's not to say they hate each other.
Sometimes I'll actually find them snuggling, especially if we have a lot of people over, or there's a thunderstorm, or maintenance comes by to fix something. I'd like to think Luigi is trying to act tough and like he doesn't care, but deep down he'll do anything to protect his baby sister June. Over time, Junie became really attached to me, despite being adopted by my roommate, and she also became really attached to Luigi, despite it being kind of a one-sided love. So when it was time to move and my roommate and I went separate ways, I adopted Junie from her. But when we moved in, I noticed Junie wasn't eating. And of course, that was a big sign something was wrong. Come on, Junie, you need to eat.
No, I'm okay.
I'll give you bread.
Oh, I don't know. Not with that big monster watching.
What? Monster? What are you talking about?
The monster.
Wait, you mean the ceiling fan?
You did it! You defeated the monster!
Yeah, turns out Junie is fanophobic. Anyway, that is why I do not have a cat named Mario, but instead a forever hungry kitten who's a lot like Kirby. Thanks for watching my videos, make sure to turn off your ceiling fan, and as always, stay safe. Hello, welcome to the end card. Thank you to Wolfie Chew for voicing my cat, Junie, in this video. I think she did a wonderful job, and if you'd like to check her out, her link to her channel is in the description, and nothing is happening in the world, so see you next video. If you were a 90s kid like me, perhaps your family also had one of these big old chunky computers on a beautiful warm wooded pedestal. You'd take the office chair for a spin, click the power button with your big toe, admire the sprawling Windows XP grasslands, and figure out what to do in your parentally sanctioned 30 minutes of computer time. Now this thing couldn't handle much. Maybe MS Paint, some good old pinball, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit at its lowest, crunchiest settings. And if you were a real 2000s gamer like myself, you'd know stuff like Toontown would cause the fans to break the sound barrier and crash the computer, which made Dad mad. So Dad brought your cute little gamer butt to the kids' computer game section in Staples, and that's where your adventure began, with the 1992 classic Putt Putt Travels Through Time by Humongous Entertainment. Now, who is Putt Putt? Well, I thought he was the little dog. But no, Putt Putt is this little purple convertible who guides you through different point-and-click style adventures that feature math, memory building skills, and other mini-games intended for kids ages 3 to 8. And in the game I got, Putt Putt Travels Through Time, the dog jumps into the time portal? That was the only character I cared about! Now we gotta save him? Putt Putt, you are a horrible dog owner! We also lost our lunchbox, our calculator, and our history report. And you had to track down all 4 of those missing things to beat the game. Easy, right? Wrong. I was too young and too dumb to ever beat this game. All I remember is scratching a dinosaur's back and getting lost in the desert. But at the ripe old age of 26, I decided it was time to revisit this Lavender Lightning McQueen to see if this game was truly any fun or at least worth the $10 my dad spent on it. The first place we went looking for our dog was the dinosaur realm, where we met a very kind Brachiosaurus.
And who or what in the primordial ooze are you?
I'm gonna start saying that. Thankfully, when we explained we were a personified convertible from the future who slipped into a time portal on his way to the bus stop, she was not only surprisingly unfazed, but also very willing to help us on our journey. Lord knows if this thing rolled into my living room, I'd hit it with a hammer. And I know this is a kid's game, it's fantasy, but you gotta admit, their calmness about all of this is pretty funny. I'm just saying, everyone's like, oh, you're from the future? Cool! Wanna help me with my bridge? After we fixed the bridge, I followed my putt-putt senses to, yes, baby! It's him! I knew it! Yes. Yes! You know what? No. I remember playing this game. I remember it taking forever. And either it took forever or I didn't know my left and right. But I didn't even hear what he said. This is probably what happened when I was a kid. Ew! All that a pato scratchin' worked up quite an appetite. So I was very excited to see my little circle dude friend had made us some
primordial soup.
Yes! Give me that soup.
Why don't you keep it?
Oh, I get a free bowl. Oh, yeah. But I had to stay focused. I had to find my dog and those 3 other things I could care less about. The next dinosaurs me and my new bowl ran into were a Compsognathus, I had to Google how to pronounce that, and a Triceratops,
who I didn't realize was standing on my history report.
I remember I need that piece of paper under his hand.
My history report.
Oh.
But he was too lost in the tree star sauce to get his big ol' foot off my piece of paper. So with nothing to beckon the Triceratops away from it, and no pep to be found, I zoomed over to the future. And that's where I found
My Smokey the Fire Engine lunchbox.
Unfortunately, I had to trade it for my cool new bowl. But after that, I found a place where I could repaint my putt-putt.
What can I do to help you?
I want to look like Lightning McQueen. Yes, I remember this! Ka-chow! Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
I also found a balloon maker, and no one told me I couldn't take it, so I stole it. But there was nothing else the future could offer me, so I moseyed on down to the old West portal.
I remember these! I need like $1.
While hunting for cash, I found a rope, an oil can, some hay, and finally, employment.
Oh, yes! Yes! This'll fund my wagon wheel gummy habit.
Here's your pay.
Yes, yes! Oh, I got a blue one! It's like a reward. Can I get another one?
It'll cost you a nickel.
Jesus Christ. If I give you more oil, will you give me another? Oh my god, yes!
My train boss dropped me off at Hubcap Hill, where I found my calculator. But of course, a squirrel got a hold of it and dropped it in a treasure chest that snapped shut and locked. Typical Tuesday, I know. So I hopped back on Mr. Train's wild ride and headed to the Gold River, where this old man fished me out some keys that unlocked the chest to get my calculator. And wham bam Christmas ham, I now had 2 of my 4 missing items. But before leaving...
Chat, what do you think? Should we get a gummy for the road? Get a gummy, yes. Gummy! Give me that gummy! What are we gonna get? Yellow! You know, very McQueen of us, actually.
I headed back to Dinosaur Land, where I was able to use the hay to bait the Triceratops off my history report, leaving me with just Pep missing and one last portal to jump through. Medieval times. I helped this little wagon guy get his wheel back on, doused their rusty gate with oil, met...
Because you pound a lot, my friend over there.
Pardon? He does pound a lot.
And finally found my dog 6 stories up a castle wall? Well, it's a good thing I stole that balloon maker, because that's what saved Pep.
Wait, does that mean the game's over? Wait, I want another gummy! We got. If I had known, I would be.
I managed to complete this putt-putt run in about an hour, therefore this was definitely not a difficult game. I was just 6 and an idiot. Final rating, 4 out of 5 gummy wagon wheels. I had to subtract 1 point for the off-leash untrained animal. That was unforgivable. The next game I remember getting but never completing was Freddy Fish 5, The Creature of Coral Cove. No, I did not play Freddy Fish 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yes, I remember my dad being concerned about this as well, but thankfully, I did not need to catch up on any Freddy Fish lore to understand what was going on. See, in Freddy Fish 5, The Creature of Coral Cove, there is a creature in Coral Cove. Anyone confused? Didn't think so. Coral Cove is a park run by
Marty Sardini.
But Mayor Marlin closed the park due to sea monster sightings. This closure, however, is ruining Marty's business, so he rallied up all the town's fish to figure out what to do. And that's where Freddy Fish and Luther come in. They offer to track down this elusive sea monster and see what they can do to get it out of the park. But before I could go into the park, this police fish stopped me.
Your only option is to get this permission slip signed by Mayor Marlin.
Okay, that seemed easy enough, but when I found him, he wouldn't sign it unless I brought his barber a specific comb for his fish hair. This is called a fetch quest, and this game mechanic is in a million other beloved games. However, fetch quests stress me out so much. Have you ever set out to do one simple thing like the dishes, only to find, oh, you actually can't do the dishes because you don't have a sponge? So you go, okay, guess I'll go to the store and buy a sponge to do the dishes. But then you get in the car and you have a flat tire. So you go, oh, guess I'll put on a spare tire to go to the store to get a sponge to do the dishes. But then, oh no, I ripped a hole in my pants while getting the spare tire out of the car. I need to put on new pants to fix the tire, to go to the store, and it just keeps going, and the task that should have taken you 10 minutes tops now takes a whole day to complete. Maybe it's the bad grades in math class talking, but if I gotta follow a whole order of operations in any capacity, it will ruin my day. But I thought, no, it's just a dumb kid's game. How bad can it be? So I swam on over to the barbershop, grabbed a comb, and swam back to the mayor.
I need the number 8 fin pick.
Jesus, and I grabbed number 9. So I swam over, grabbed the number 8 fin pick, and swam back. Finally, the mayor signed my permission slip, and finally, we could enter Coral Cove Park. I remember this thing! It's heavy. Relieved to finally be doing something plot relevant, I continued into the park.
Those meddlesome kids are gonna ruin my grand plan.
Luther and I explored the park, found some sea urchins, that's fish money, and did our best to get acquainted with this massive map. A necklace, I think. Can I offer you cheese?
That's not going to do me any good.
You don't know that, Freddy. The second red flag desperately warning me that this game was about to ruin my day was Freddy's passive-aggressive little catchphrases she'd say when you did something wrong. Which is interesting considering Freddy did nothing when that same eel almost ate her little brother. I'm an older sibling too, but come on, girl. Thinking I perhaps just didn't click on the eel in the right spot, I offered him cheese again.
I think I need that right now.
I don't like being gentle parented by Freddy Fish. But I took a deep breath, moved on to another area, and I was smacked with nostalgia. I remember this. We have to like glue it back together and then go whoo into the... Can I grab the pieces? I can't?
I bet we could fix this jug if we use glue.
That's exactly what I said. I reminded myself that having beef with a digital fish would be cringe, so I collected some more sea urchins to get my mind off things. But Freddy just couldn't help herself when I handed my cheese evidence to the police fish. I can show it to the cop.
That's not going to do me any good.
You don't know that, Freddy! Okay then, I'll bring it to the mayor. Hey, what do you think of this?
I don't think I need that right now.
Okay, this cheese then. Why don't you keep it, Freddy, because you love it so much? Guess I'll just do nothing, swim around aimlessly, and... Wait, maybe I need this screw for something. Couldn't reach that screw, but you know what I could reach? These pliers on the ground next to an octopus.
The pliers? I'll use those to take this big ship apart. I can't find a bottle big enough to fit the thing.
Hey, I know where we can get, but we need glue. Alright, this is looking like another fetch quest with zero bearing on the Creature of Coral Cove plot. And I can do that. But this ends here, right? We're not fetching and trading and running errands for the whole game, right? Wrong. For the next 20 minutes, I swam in circles to buy a grabby thing, to get the screw, to put the sign up, to save the fish guy, to get some glue, to fix the bottle, to trade for that bottle, to give to the octopus, to get the pliers, to give to our friend, he looks like me, to look at this giant piece of cheese under his microscope, observe. And after all of that, we got, ew! Ew, what are the, ew. By the way, while that fetch quest was happening, I was also doing a separate fetch quest to buy some chips to give to the eel, to get the necklace to give to the worker.
That's not going to do me any good.
It literally will. To fix the claw machine, to play the claw machine, to get, I don't have any money. To find one sea urchin, to play the claw machine, to get a glow necklace. And why would Freddy Fish need a glow necklace? Because the key. Remember the key with the cheese on it? Okay, I needed the claw machine glow necklace because when you unlock the door with the cheese key, it's dark inside. Maybe this will take an hour. Wrong again! Okay, so the glow necklace did illuminate the cave to reveal this 3-step evil plan that the Creature of Coral Cove conveniently left behind, which did feel good to uncover. I was finally doing something relevant to the plot, but now I needed to find where the creature was hiding. The deepest crevice of the ocean, and then I will confront him with his silly little villain to-do list. I then spent another 20 minutes trying and failing to find that deepest crevice of the ocean. I'm looking up a walkthrough. I can't handle this. Big thanks to Sown551 for trying to help, but I could not figure this out for the life of me. And I know what you're thinking. Illy, it's a kid's game. It's not rocket science. And to that I say, then why did it take another hour for my literal rocket scientist boyfriend to help me figure it out?
I got through it.
How the f?
I guess it took like 4 or 5 tries.
All this game is teaching kids is to be desperate. Final rating, 0 out of 5 pieces of cheese, waste of time, not autistic friendly.
That's not going to do me any good.
Nope, that's it, you're done, get in the trash. After that nightmare, I was very excited to try a game that I never actually got the chance to play as a kid. See, my dad bought me Pajama Sam, There's No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside, and I remember that game very vividly. I played it and I beat it so many times, which is what the developers were hoping for, so that you would play the free demos they included in the main menu, and subsequently beg your dad to buy you more games. In the demo I played, Sam was stuck in candy jail, and the demo ended a little after breaking out, and I begged my dad to get me this game, but I never got it. Until now. The game begins with Sam eating a bunch of cookies before dinner since he needs 20 box tops to win a prize. Remember box tops? That's crazy. Anyway, the cookies come to life and he chases them into the pantry where he is magically transported to a world of talking food. Sorry, did I say talking? I mean groovin'. Look at Miss Peppermint over here. I'm gonna tell my kids this was Adventure Time. We found our first box top, we ate a giant piece of cake, and then said goodbye to the dancing junk foods. But when we explained we didn't want to spoil our dinner, it became clear these guys had beef with broccoli.
Yeah!
Jail!
Jail! Jail! And wham bam Christmas chocolate bar, I was in the demo spot. And there was the broccoli they had beef with.
I'm Florette. Are you a political prisoner too?
And listen, I've seen the headlines. I've seen how parents and randos with anger issues react to pronouns in their video games. So let this be your warning. If you can't handle adjectives and nouns, buckle up. Once Florette and I broke out of candy jail and witnessed the hard candy police presence on the grounds, we slipped over to the food pyramid. And that's where I learned that little shindig we were just at, yeah, that was for the Snacks and Sweets Aggressive Majority Party, aka Sam. Which is why I, or Sam, was brought there by the cookies. They thought he was one of them, until he mentioned partaking in other foods. So the Sweets locked us up because they want full control of the island of Mop Top, and are willing to accomplish this by any means necessary, including kidnapping delegates from other food groups to keep a peace conference from happening. And Mr. Carrot over here is trying to keep the general from declaring war, so he needs our help to find the other missing delegates.
Only 2 are here, and there are supposed to be 6.
Oh my
bad
god!
News.
This is definitely breaking the Geneva Conventions. Dare I say, the stakes couldn't be any higher. Thankfully, Mr. Carrot gave us this handy list of missing delegates and what they looked like. I'm really excited to meet the baguette guy. I have a feeling he's gonna have a really French accent. So I began my search in the food pyramid's other rooms. And next to this adorable onion librarian, we found a ticket for 1 free dance lesson. Weird, but okay. And now that the candy soldiers were gone, I took a ride on this cute little donut tire swing. Also weird, but okay. I continued my exploration west, but I was stopped by a pair of guards. I mean, gourds.
Well, he's not a gourd, so no, you can't go in.
I'll come back when I'm a gourd. I then came across a canyon of working gumdrops, and I blew this horn to get them to clear my path. Little did I know that would mean...
Quitting time!
Hell yeah, quit. I hope they're unionized. Did you catch that?
I hope they're unionized.
That was just an offhanded joke, but remember that. Up the mountain, I came across a fortune cookie man with his riddles 3. I was uninterested, so I skipped his dialogue, continued on my merry way, and found... It's him! Mr. Cheese!
Howdy.
And his balloon was stuck in a suspiciously placed cotton candy cloud, so he needed just the right amount of weight added to his balloon to float down safely. 10 pounds of sand. However, he already had some sand in his balloon sandbag, but he wasn't sure how much. And this was starting to sound like I'd be solving for X, so I ran away and I ended up at the ski slopes. I wiped out, went back for round 2, and that's where I found a plunger? A third trip down the mountain brought no other prizes, so I returned to my donut friend, who revealed they also like to swim.
Well, float, really.
Oh.
I'm a good floater.
So I cut them down from the tree, we floated on down the river, but there was a French fry dam blocking our path.
I love French fries, especially with ketchup.
Wonderful! I brought him ketchup from the condiment tree next door, he tore into those fries, I pondered the implications of this world. and our path was opened. Easy one-step fetch quest like God intended. The river, however, led to a giant beating heart.
Oh dear God. Ew, a box top.
Mr. Donut could only take us so far into the arteries, so we hopped off and explored. And that's where we found poor Granny Smith stuck in a dance mob.
I'm Granny Smythe! Get it right! Help!
I wasn't sure how to get the cans to stop dancing, so I slipped away, found a couple plumbers, and admired their wrench. They were very excited to talk about it, but first wanted to make sure I was in.
Union? The plumbers union.
Let's see your plunger.
I have one.
I showed them my plunger, they accepted me into the union, and let me have their wrench.
We're all plumbers here.
Yeah, we are.
On the way out, my Twitch chat told me to offer the dancing cans that free dance lessons ticket we found. And it would have worked, but the dance teacher said she didn't have the right shoes, so she couldn't help. And, okay, this is sounding like a fetch quest. But at least this game has heart.
Right now, I'm helping a carrot prevent a war by finding peace delegates and getting them to a big conference.
Yeah! How delightful.
Yes, war is always such a filthy business.
Oh my God. This game is so based.
And those were just the dance teachers. Down the road, I came across a full-on strike and another missing delegate. So I stepped into the manager's trailer for a quick chat.
Work is good? This guy doesn't know about the plumbers union.
I wasn't able to uncover much in my investigative journalism, so Mr. Donut and I floated over to Muscle Beach. And I found a bag that I could fill with sand. And then I found...
I am Pierre Lepin of the Breads and Grains Group.
They made the sad little French guy a prize. Now I gotta win him. But I'm not. Oh, box top.
I wasn't strong enough to ring the bell, so I headed into the carnival where I came across a comedian whose jokes and punchline cards got all mixed up. And he was bombing so badly that someone threw an entire pumpkin at him. I followed him backstage, stole the pumpkin to complete my gourd transformation, helped him reorganize his jokes, and as a thank you, he gave me his big ol' shoes. So I brought the dancer the shoes so she could give the cans a dance lesson so I could save Granny Smythe from the dance mob. I returned to Muscle Beach to fill the bag with sand, fix the leaky hose with my union's wrench, water the cauliflowers, end the Strong Muffin Dude's drawing session so they would return to working out, thus making the Ferris wheel operational so I could ride it, ring the bell, and free Mr. French Bread. And now the last delegate left to save was Mr. Cheese.
Howdy.
Uh-oh.
I recovered the bag and headed back to Muscle Beach to empty out some sand. But on the way, when I tried to grab a box top, that's when disaster struck.
Okay, so here's the thing. My cursor... Oh. Oh no. Oh no, I didn't save.
Sadly, the game crashed and I had to start over. And even sadlier, with humongous entertainment games, the tasks and locations of missing items are different upon each new playthrough, meaning I couldn't just repeat what I did in the last hour of gameplay. I was in for a whole new game path that would take another hour to complete. But honestly, I didn't mind. This game had so many good messages, and the ending was sweeter than anyone could have anticipated.
All the best things to eat are made by different kinds of food working together.
So true.
And that's what you should all be doing.
Wow.
Put her there, partner.
Wow. Wait, did they kiss? Oh, wait, hold on.
In the end, I give this Pajama Sam game 10 out of 10 pro-union, anti-war, gay grilled cheese sandwiches. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Yeah? Come on in. Look at that, you get the pajama. What? Are you leaving? Okay, bye. What? Me 2 minutes. Be right there.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I usually do animated videos. Last year in 2018, I was in animation school, so I started making YouTube videos as a hobby. I met a bunch of amazing people in the animation community, and I attended VidCon for the first time last year. I didn't really have much of a channel back then, maybe like 5,000 subscribers, and again, it was just a hobby. But in September, my channel blew up, I hit 1 million subscribers this year, and I was also invited to VidCon as a featured creator. It's been crazy and fun and wild. However, this means I'm technically not allowed to go on the floor as I did last year because security says as a featured creator I could cause a mob and therefore a fire hazard. So I had an idea. I'm gonna see if I can go undercover at VidCon, full disguise, so I can enjoy the convention too, and see how long I can go before people recognize me. I don't know if people would recognize me. Again, this is like my first event, but we'll see. The experiment begins down in San Diego, where I met up with my friend Emily from the channel Emmy Reach You. She's super experienced in cosplays, so I enlisted her help in finding a wig for me. We were only allowed to try on a few wigs. We couldn't try on the whole store, so I chose this brown one because it looked really natural, and I chose this blue one just to see how big of a transformation we could go.
I found a wig, I got the dark one, and now Emily's gonna do my makeup and test run it. I'm so excited.
You should go up to your animator friends pretending to be their biggest fan and see if they recognize you.
I wanna go up to Maz. Who else?
Go to James.
Hi, I'm a big fan!
This was a hilarious and freaking genius idea, so I'm gonna try to approach Maz from The Amazing, Pat, who's the voice of Life Noggin, and James the Odd Ones Out, pretending to be one of their fans, and see if they recognize me. So because I have naturally blonde eyebrows and eyelashes, and I'm really pale, that makes my face a blank slate for any kind of makeup. So that's how I ended up looking like this.
Y'all want some lunch?
Whatever glasses I wear, it ends up framing my face, and it really kills the magic. I'm not one to wear contacts though, so I'm just gonna go without glasses. I think I can see like 20 feet ahead of me or something. Well, that would be 20/20 vision, wouldn't it? I can't see 20 feet ahead of me. I'll figure it out.
But I'm gonna go to Target like this. Just see how it feels.
The red lipstick and eyeshadow eyebrows wasn't really working as well as I liked, so we went to Target to get a proper eyebrow pencil and also the darkest lipstick.
Okay, snatch it.
What really brought it together was when I put on my Odd Ones Out beanie, and I ended up looking like the manic pixie dream girl I've always wanted to be. Speaking of which, my mom never let me dye my hair, so I made sure to send her a picture with absolutely no context. She was not pleased, and I kind of broke her heart a little. As for clothes, I had my own Young the Giant black band shirt at the time, and Emily let me borrow some of her black skinny jeans. And it really brought the look together. But I realized my friends know my favorite band, and I need my own pants, so I went to the mall to pay a visit to All Reliable Hot Topic. And that's where I found this Panic at the Disco shirt. I also paid a visit to the store with the bird on it, Hollister. And that's where I found these ripped black skinny jeans for myself to wear. So with that, here is my full disguise. A dark wig, dark makeup, no glasses at all, a Panic at the Disco shirt, and skinny jeans. So it's finally time to go to VidCon and test it all out. My cameraman Ian will be filming me as inconspicuously as possible. So with that, let's go to VidCon.
Oh my God.
So I bought these socks yesterday from James's booth. He doesn't know I bought them, so maybe this will work. Oh God. Oh God. I don't have my glasses on, and if people are far away, I can't tell who they are. And if I can't tell who they are, I can't get embarrassed, and hopefully they don't recognize me, and that's the whole point of this. So I hope I don't feel too awkward. Oh man. This really makes me feel like a YouTuber. Like, we're gonna go do this video, guys. We're gonna do that. All right, we're going in. Wait, there's Katsoon. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it to Katsoon. Hi. I'm sorry, are you Katsoon?
I am Katsoon.
Can I have a picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. I love your videos. I just went up to Katsoon and was like, hey, I have a picture. Where's he at? See you backstage.
Oh. So wait, you're right by which stage are you at? Okay, I'll run and then I'll tell you when we get to the crate. He's about to go on.
We have to run.
Running and texting.
Hi. Hi.
How are you?
I'm really good at... Yeah, sorry. You look fine. Thank you so much. Can I have a hug? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I fooled him. I got him. All right, my booth is right up here.
That's very nice. Oh, that's great.
Wait, what did you get? Oh, that's so cute.
Wait, how much are those?
They're 20.
They're 20? Oh, wait. It's a lot?
20. I think that's a lot for a plushie.
Oh, that's okay. Maybe she'll take them down to like 15. That might be easier.
Yeah, that could be a limited edition.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. There's probably not a lot of them. Sorry. I still wanted to get one. These they're too expensive. I gotta lower the prices. I'm calling Maz. Let's step out where it's quieter. Hey, do you have a second? I found that fan that I told you about. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, I'll just send her over there because I'm getting mobbed, okay? I'm sorry. Thank you so much for coming out. Sorry, my camera's being stupid. Jenna?
So it's like, yo, Mom, let me give you tea. It's like this girl named Jenna wants to really meet you.
She said that?
Yeah, I was like,
I want to try to animate. I have a channel. It's called Jenna Draws. Do you get it?
Why do I recognize this? Do you have a Twitter? Or Instagram?
I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry.
No, bother me.
Okay.
Can I admit something right now?
Yeah.
It's like, I swear, like literally, you look so much like illymation. Like,
really?
you two are like twinning. Like, in my mind at least, you know what I mean? I don't know. Jenna, you're so adorable. Thank you so much for watching my videos. There you go.
Did you know?
Me? Not at all.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
No, why'd you play it up?
I didn't know.
No, you.
I'm being. Okay, I'll promise you right here. Come here.
You were. You look a lot like illymation.
Because you literally looked like illymation.
Well, tell me how to be better.
How to be better? So first of all, what I noticed was immediately just your height, your stature, your smile. Your smile's a giveaway. I know your smile too well. Another thing as well, I looked around, so you standing on the side, I'm like, it's you. Just come here. You tried.
Tried.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I got
James.
James
I'll
now.
give you a B. B plus.
B plus. Oh well. All right.
B plus.
All right. I'll get better next year.
Do you want me? There's like 7 of us. There's BJ, Alex's corner, Sultan.
Yeah. Just
Adam,
like just.
Adam.
I haven't got Adam yet. Get Adam.
Easier knowing that they typically make good.
Do you say no?
Adam's right there. Okay, behind me. So get ready to say hi. Okay. So smile. Get ready.
Okay.
Thought that goes across my mind.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
Yeah, Maz told me that you were looking. You asked for me, so I was like, oh, I need to meet this person.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really nice. Can I have a picture? Okay. Oh, sorry, it's dark.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet you.
Thank you. Oh. God, he had no idea. Adam's gonna be so mad at me. I'm about to do it again. I love doing this. Hi, Pat.
Hey, what's up?
So I found this this fan of yours, and she was saying how she liked Life Noggin, but she doesn't know what you look like.
Where are you?
Well, I'm backstage, but she's in the expo hall, but like in the hall area, kind of in front of where Jaden's booth is.
I like your hat. I like your hat. Nice
Thanks,
hat.
thanks.
It's really cool.
I'm a
What's
big
your,
fan of
what's
him.
your name?
Jenna.
Are you wearing Panic at the Disco?
Yeah, it's my favorite
I love
band.
Panic at the Disco.
Me too.
Hey, can I get a hug?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Hey.
You're Life Noggin, right?
Yeah.
No.
Love this.
You know.
Yeah.
All right, Ian, come out. Did you see Ian?
No, we're
Punked. You got punked.
I didn't see your face.
You just realized who it was, right?
You just realized? I knew it. I knew you'd.
I didn't realize at first
Oh.
until you came right up to me, and then I saw your face, and I was like, oh. what kind of you doing? What are you doing? You look great.
I think that's almost everyone to fool.
Ian's shaking his head yes. You did a great job. Hey, very good. Round of applause.
Well, we did it, fellas. I think I successfully managed to fool Katzun, Adam, and James. So if you guys are watching this, gotcha. But as for Maz and Pat, you got me. They both said as soon as I got close, it was game over. So I think they just know me a little too well, and that's why it didn't work. Also, sorry, my voice sounds like this because I talked a lot of VidCon. But you know what they say, practice makes perfect, so I will get you next year. I just want to end this by saying, last year at this time, I went to VidCon because YouTube was my hobby. I made a bunch of friends through doing this, but now a year later, I'm a featured creator. And I'm so honored to have been given this position. And I really, this is literally because
you guys are watching my videos. I've never thought of myself as someone who wanted to be a YouTuber or do anything like this at all. I thought I would just be working in like an animation studio, but now it's like I have my own studio and it's building this whole community that I never thought I'd be able to do this. So all of this was really made possible by you guys, and I want to give you a proper thank you. So thank you for watching my videos, and I'll see you next time.
Oh, you didn't snatch it.
Hold on.
Hey!
Are you a young, aspiring professional ready to take on the world? Do you own like 3 pots and pans and a wooden spoon but don't know how to use them? Are you old enough to not be afraid of turning on the stove but you still are for some reason? Me too. So, we gotta figure something out. See, no one tells you this, but when you say, okay, I guess I'm an adult now, there's like a terms and conditions block of text hiding in your birthday cake. Huh. That's a weird feeling. Kinda tastes like taxes. And when those terms and conditions catch up to you, they freaking hurt. And as it turns out, you cannot live off of Chipotle. I mean, you can, but is this really the life you want to live? Luigi, if you know what's good for you, don't come in here. So one night, I decided I'd had enough DoorDash. It was high time I learned how to cook. Yeehaw! God. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that my inspiration for cooking tends to spike during the wee hours of the night. And you'll also know I'm not perfect in the kitchen. So without further ado, here are some of my trials and tribulations surrounding cooking. Soup time, gonna get a pot for some soup crimes. Soup time, veggies in my hand looking mighty fine. Soup time, gonna peel the potato. Oh, whoops. Number 1, be safe. If you are in the kitchen, you will be working with sharp objects. And if you enjoy having all the fingers you were born with, you ought to learn how to properly use sharp objects. The sharp object I used was a peeler, and I didn't have the guard turned correctly, and that's how I ended up like this. So don't be like me. Be safe. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Injury time. Time to account for my cooking crimes. It's fine. I was fine. It was gross. I will not show a picture, but to give you an idea, here's a PG rendition I sent to my mom. Anyway, here's how to be safe in the kitchen. First, make sure your knife is sharp. This might sound counterintuitive, but dull knives cause a lot more problems. Because if you're chopping stuff, but the knife isn't going through it, you're gonna end up applying too much pressure to a knife. And it could slip, and you could get hurt. See? Watch. Thankfully, I'm a cartoon character, so with the magic of animation, I can grow my hand back. But you can't do that in real life, okay? So, number 2, learn how to hold a knife. When chopping stuff, the best practice is hold the knife at the base of the blade with one hand, and with the other hand, curl your fingers in, like a claw. Like a cat. Hiss. 'Cause you like all those fingers, right? And you want them all to stay on your hand, right? Right. And number 3, put the sharps away, safe and clean. Believe me, I love a good dishwasher, but to quote what my grandmother told my mother, you're a good dishwasher too. Plus, dishwasher detergent isn't so great for knives. It can dull the blade. And you remember what I said about your fingers. I'll link some stuff in the description for you guys to check out. Alright, I've got a Band-Aid, I know how to hold a knife now, so let's actually try cooking. The first time I tried cooking was back in college, and I had some bangin', albeit simple, dishes. Chicken with Alfredo sauce and broccoli, chicken fajitas, spaghetti, as well as my matzo ball soup. But I'll get into that later. Deep within my highlight reel of wonderful dishes also lives a dozen horrible ones. There was one year I couldn't go home for the holidays, so a couple friends and I met up for a potluck, and we each cooked and brought something. And I was going to make, drum roll please, green bean casserole. And I know what you're thinking.
Ew, green beans? A casserole? Yucky wucky. No, thank you.
But hear me out. Growing up in the South, man, green bean casserole is the bomb.com. It is the bee's knees. If you can make it right. The recipes I've followed always include green beans, cream of mushroom soup, and fried onions on top. But the seasoning is very important. And let me make clear, I didn't ruin it because I under-seasoned. That's a lot of pepper. All right. 1/4 tablespoon. I knew it! So yeah, it was really peppery. And when I took a test bite, it was not safe for human consumption. And when my friends came over, I warned them. I told them I messed up the pepper proportions and they should not eat this. But they were my friends and they're so kind and supportive, so they were like, oh, come on, it can't be that bad. Yeah, that's a lot of pepper, man. Even though I messed up my contribution, it was still a great time because we were all together. And everyone else brought really good food, so that helped. And that's what I love about cooking. Even if it turns out to be garbage, it's still the reason we meet up in the first place. And even to this day, there's a lot I try to make, like tacos and chicken and even milk tea. And those things need polishing. But enough negativity. I think it's time I share with you guys a family meal that I grew up loving and making. Matzo ball soup. Listen. Imagine if, like, a noodle was a sponge. Matzo balls are awesome because they soak up all the broth and all the flavor and all the seasoning, and it's so warm and soft and homey. My friends really liked it when I made it back in college, so I hope you guys like it too. Here's how to make matzo ball soup. All you really need is the matzo ball soup kit, which is pretty cheap, and you can find it in the international food aisle. Besides that, you can add literally anything you want. It's just like that scene in Ratatouille. You are Remy, and you can sniff things, and you can throw it in the pot. You know why? It's a soup! As long as it tastes good, you're in the clear. Any ingredient, any flavor, any spice. Papa John. Wait, no. But that's what makes making soup so fun. So let's get crazy in the kitchen. I like chopping up some onions, some celery, some carrots, and some potatoes. But you can add whatever you like. Peppa, what are you doing in my soup? If you're feeling less Remy the rat and more Linguini the human, don't worry. It already comes with a little seasoning packet that gets the job done. But listen, the best part about matzo ball soup is making the matzo balls. Step 1, eggs and oil. Step 2, mix that mix in. Step 3, chill out. Just be calm. Add the soup mix to the water. Taste the seasoning. Feel the seasoning. Become the seasoning. And then you make the balls, you make the balls, you make the balls! Golf ball size. Don't get crazy, don't get cocky. I know it's funny because big matzo balls, but listen, you're making a big mistake. A mistake even bigger than your big matzo balls. They won't fucking cook. So don't make the balls too big. Think of the children, please. I'm begging you. Just rein it in. And then you put the balls in the water and they float. Whee! Let it simmer for 20 minutes, and then wham bam Christmas ham, you got a homey little bowl of matzo ball soup. Do illy. Pat yourself on the back, unwind, and enjoy. It's delicious. And yes, it's a lot like chicken noodle soup, and yes, it may remind you of something to eat when you don't feel good. But that's just the thing. I know I'm not a very good cook, but I want to be, and I enjoy trying. So whenever I don't feel so good about cooking, and I feel stupid for even trying, I go back to the basics with matzo ball soup. Because it feels good to make things you actually like and enjoy making. And this is where I really feel like Remy the Ratatouille, the rat of all my dreams. Making something and making it with love always has a way of putting everything into perspective. For you and for everyone you share it with. Remember, anyone can cook. So with that, thank you for watching my videos. Double, triple check how much pepper you add to your seasoning. And if you like this one, let me know by hitting like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe, and as always, stay safe. Cut! Alright, now that I'm done here, I'm here to give you some exclusive behind-the-scenes access. So, I bet you're wondering about where I got this.
Wait a minute! Where did cartoon Illy and real-life Illy get that apron?
Oh, well, it's actually a funny story. You see,
Wait, weren't you talking about matzo balls? Like me? Matzo balls?
No puns in the kitchen.
Wait, huh? No puns in the kitchen.
Go on, get!
Wait, Alyssa, no, please! Ow! Okay, go! Ah!
Back when my finger was healing, I started writing this video. And then a small business named Funny Aprons reached out. And this is a special kind of sponsor. They said, hey, we're a small business, just me and my GF from Australia. We love making funny aprons and we'd love to send you one of your cat on it. And if you do happen to like it, please let your fans know. But it's up to you. And guess what? I love this apron. Genuinely. How could I not? As you can see, it's a custom design, and the neck strap is adjustable, and it's comfy, and it's got pockets. Look at all the things I can fit in my pockets! And it's water resistant, and you can wash it, and they have a bunch of designs already laid out for you to make customizing that much more fun. I got the "That's Fire" design and uploaded this picture I drew of Chef Wiggy. Funny Aprons isn't some big mega corporation. This is a family-run business just doing what they love, making funny aprons. And I mean it when I say it, I'm here for the chaos. If you are too, they gave me a 10% off code for you guys to use at checkout, illy10. They also have mittens, not mittens, what are they called? Baking gloves. Mitts? Oven mitts, yeah. They've got those too. So please enjoy the 10% off code illy10, link in the description, and if you want this exact one, you are more than welcome. Whatever you get, make sure to tag me and Funny Aprons on Instagram. We'd love to see your hilarious designs and whatever you decide to cook that day. So go to buyfunnyaprons.com and don't forget to use illy10. And that's it. Thank you for watching. And thank you, Funny Aprons, for sponsoring this video.